mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole. You're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a Seasick crocodile.
You've been dumb before, Charlie Brown, but this time you really did it.
Choice between the...
What a treat! I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. Behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you.
Linus is right. I won't let all this commercialism ruin my Christmas. I'll take this little tree home and decorate it, and I'll show them it really will work in our play. First prize? Oh well, this commercial dog is not going to ruin my Christmas. I've killed it. Oh, everything I touch gets ruined.
That all the world should be taxed, and all went to be taxed, every one to his own city. For to disobey the Roman emperor meant certain death, Oh, there were young people and old people. There were the famous and mighty, and some not yet known, but whose names would eventually linger and be revered for all time. There were good people who could ill afford the cruel tax about to be imposed upon them, and there were others.
Yes, what is with that fucking picture on your avatar? Or your avatar? Oh my God, Debbie!
Boy, Aaron.
Oh, I hear Brown Beasley. Listen.
Animals dancing, Ben Harimet?
They certainly are.
Wow. What are you doing, man? I haven't talked to you in 3 weeks.
I know, we were supposed to do a show on Monday, but
I was sick as a fucking dog.
you were having a Scarlett O'Hara moment.
Yes, I was. I really was. I read about it.
How you feeling now?
I'm about, if 10 I'm perfect, I'm about a 7. So I'm getting there. Man, I hit rock bottom. I went to the hospital.
Yeah, I know you did.
It sucked.
Sometimes, yeah, it's got to get worse before it gets better, and the body starts to heal and shit like that.
A lot of people have gotten the flu, and I don't want to hear anything about that stupid flu shot you got.
Well, you might not have had it as bad if you'd gotten the flu shot.
Man, it is so weird. I was talking to you and JP on the show on Friday, and all of a sudden I thought, I feel like I'm dying. It was just like that real heavy feeling like all throughout your shoulders and your chest, and you just feel like you're... I thought, oh my God, I wonder if I'm dying, And I still have kind of the snivels and stuff, but I was like, I couldn't believe, I was like, guys, I gotta go. I mean, I have never done that, Yeah.
Is there any way you can change your avatar? Because I'm just getting nauseous, just a little bit, Debbie. I'm just like, it's creepy. It's creeping me out, Debbie.
Everybody says that.
Oh fuck! It's like I'm looking away right now. I'm almost.
Okay.
You want to induce flu? Jesus Christ!
Induce death, actually. Let's see. This would be prettier to look at. Look at little beautiful JP.
Let's see it. I don't even see that. Never mind.
Can you see him?
There we go. All right.
Isn't he pretty? He sent me that picture.
Is him in high school? Does he look as good? Who looks better, me or him in high school?
Man, it would be you probably. I hate to say that, but you had a beautiful face. You had the hair parted on the side. I can just see you standing in front of the mirror, combing your hair, getting ready for school, going, Mom, I'm late.
Yeah. So you were talking. I noticed that letter you had written, like from that guy in Brooklyn, who was against making the film Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, that's authentic, Mr. Midnight Movie.
Yeah.
It says, let me see. I can read it. Do you have it, or you want me to open it? Let's see. There's my Twitter. Okay. I sent Mr. Midnight Movie a tweet today that was a letter, everybody, that was from when at the time Gone with the Wind went out. Was released 75 years ago, and the letter.
Well, the letter was in 1936.
Right, and the movie was released in 39.
Yeah,
because it probably took them several years to actually make the movie. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, even the concept of the script and the storyboard. I mean how they worked it and reworked it. Because when you're doing a book from a movie, I mean, there's a lot more stuff in the book than there is than can be shown in the movie. So you have to condense it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's addressed to Selznick International Pictures in Hollywood, California. It simply says, "Gentlemen, I wish to register my protest against the making of Gone with the Wind. The picture is a Negro baiting film that will only encourage such organizations as the Ku Klux Klan and the Black Legion to continue their terrorism and their violations of civil rights. I feel that such a film will certainly not meet with the approval of the people, but will be welcomed by the fascists and Nazis of this country. Again, let me urge you not to produce this un-American film." And it's signed Hyman Meyer. Well, several people since the sending of this have looked into the validity of it, and it has been validated. God, I sound horrible. Validated several times over that there was a man named Hyman Meyer, and guess what the color of his skin was?
He was a Jew, wasn't he? That sounds like a Jew, but he might have been a black Jew. Why?
He was white. He was a Jewish white person with a huge family. He had like 6 children.
Well, that's big for. I guess that would be big for nowadays, but that wasn't unusual for families back. I mean, families were a lot bigger back then than they are today. I mean, like my mother came from a family of 11.
My grandfather came from a family of 12. My ears are stopped up, so I can't. This is weird. I can't want my ears to pop. Yeah, his name was Hyman Meyer. Yeah, very Jewish name. And he wasn't he in New York?
Well, it said Brooklyn, so yeah, it was.
He was
from New York. Well, no, was he head of any organization? Was it head of the Communist League or the Progressive League?
I did some of my own little things on him, and what I found out was Hyman Meyer was born in October of 1876. He was born in San Francisco, California. He died October 7th, 1945. But the thing about it is, Mr. Midnight Movie, is this guy, Hyman Meyer, was active in the film industry. Is this the same Hyman Meyer?
Well, there was a film industry in New York. That's where David Selznick, he came out of. His father, David O. Selznick's father.
He did a movie called The Saturday Night Kid. You've not heard of that?
You know what? I mean, that is really early silent film. So, yeah, and...
what about David O. Selznick? He came out of... Now what?
Well, David O. Selznick's father, and he worked for his father, came out of the silent era. There was a film studio in New York that had gone bankrupt. And David O. Selznick came out to California to reestablish, through his name and through his father's name, get into the film industry. And they made a movie it was kind of based on David O. Selznick, called The Bad and the Beautiful with Kirk Douglas. And it's about how, his from his father's failures, he became kind of a success. Now, this was 1950, so Selznick was a great success then, but he didn't end up as a success. I think he lost quite a bit of his money in some of his business ventures, and like a lot of the studio bosses, they ignorantly decided not to get into television, and they paid a very large price for that.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Well, if you look on your cyber screen that we have here, we have got I found some excellent stuff. Did you know that Gone with the Wind is in Austin, Texas right now?
Is it really? Is it playing?
No. All of the dresses, and there's an art exhibit. And I might grab Heather and the baby and drive down there and go look at it. But
how far is Austin from Dallas?
Oh, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. It's 3 hours. No more, no less. It's a great drive, too. It's a beautiful drive all through the hill country, and it's a pretty drive.
Yeah.
Here is the original invitation list, Mr. Midnight Movie, December the 12th of 1959, of the people that were invited to the premiere of Gone with the Wind.
1939, you mean?
What did I say? 59? Looks like 59. 1939. You're right. The total number of the people on this page are 240, and it's the actual names. And you can see where it says yes, no, maybe, yes, maybe, no. Victor Fleming says maybe. Errol Flynn says yes. Henry Fonda, no. Isn't that crazy? The names on here. Yeah. Clark Gable.
Yeah. And there had been, because the thing of it is, there are people who, because they spent, in 1939, this film cost $4 million to make. It was the most expensive, the most expensive film of all time at that time. And you know what, you'd think, because after The Godfather, there was all these, mafia gangster films made. But after Gone with the Wind, they didn't start making Civil War dramas until the big ones that I could remember, until the mid-1950s, because Gone with the Wind, it set it apart, because it would always be, people figured that any Civil War drama that's like that talk, would be compared to Gone with the Wind. And it just, there was nothing that could probably measure up to it. I mean, it was a lot to measure up to. From the color, from the sets to the color scheme, it was just, it was pretty much, as far as, like, I guess at the time, considered almost a flawless film.
Oh, it's my favorite film of all time. I've told you that ever since I've known you.
And I'll be honest with you, I resisted watching it when I was younger, and then I watched it as an adult, and it's I was mesmerized from beginning to end. I was completely and absolutely mesmerized, and I realized why people say it's a classic.
Mm-hmm. It's got a little bit of everything in it. And I found a thing today on the internet that's called Gone with the Wind in 20... Is it Gone with the Wind in not 60 seconds, but it's Gone with the Wind in, there it is, in 20 minutes. And it's pretty amazing the way it touches on all of the major highlights of Gone with the Wind. And, there's where it says watched, where I saw part of it. But we'll start it up a little bit here and see what we got. I didn't watch but just a couple of seconds of it, but...
Hey, Ashley Wilkes is gonna marry her. You know the Wilkes always marry their cousin. Now, do we get those waltzes? Of course.
She was 30 years old and playing a 17-year-old right here.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Pale-faced, mealy-mouthed ninny, and I hate her.
Ashley Wilkes doesn't think so.
Ashley Wilkes couldn't like anyone like her.
What's your interest in Ashley and Miss Melanie? Have you been making a spectacle of yourself running about after a man who's not in love with you, when you might have any of the bucks in the county?
I haven't been running after him. It's just a surprise, that's all.
Now, don't be jerking your chin at me. If Ashley wanted to marry you, 'twould be with misgivings I'd say yes. I want my girl to be happy, and you'd not be happy with him.
I would. Plantations don't mean anything when...
Do you mean to tell me, Katie Scarlett O'Hara, that...
See, it really starts out as a love story. And if I saw it for the first time, do you know how they premiered it across the United States? They didn't tell people what they were going to see. They thought they were... They thought they were going to go see? What was it?
Well, actually, they actually did a sneak preview.
Right.
In, I believe it was either Santa Barbara or San Diego. I think it was, but they thought they were going to see the movie Beau Geste.
That's right. And all of a sudden, when it came across the screen, the audience started screaming and clapping. They couldn't believe that they were going to see it, and they gave it a standing ovation. Actually gave it a standing ovation at the end.
And it was, like I said, the film was just ahead of its time and so unique. And almost at 4 hours, it keeps you literally, mesmerized from beginning to end. Now, how old were you when you saw it for the first time?
I was pretty old. I was. They used to show it once a year. On CBS, and I remember seeing it. I don't know, sometime in high school. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. I thought it was the most. And now I'm in possession of the. Victor bought me in some year. He bought me the 50th golden thing. You've seen my paintings and my my artwork that's done. I have all of the. They're actually Barbie dolls, but they're dressed just like Scarlett. I've got the plates. I've got everything. I mean, I just love it. I'm a big fan of it, and I loved it from the first time I saw it. But it starts out, you think it's a love story until the barbecue, when suddenly you realize the war breaks out. General Lee, the president declares war. Wasn't it Lee surrenders? I know that, but the South ends up surrendering to the North because they had so much more firepower than us, Yeah.
And did you know that Margaret Mitchell? They said that Margaret Mitchell didn't even know that the South had lost the war until she was 18 years of age.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Now, I know that for a long time in the South, they taught the Confederate Constitution to the children. Were your parents kind of that way? Did they teach you about the glory of the South and all that jazz?
No. We weren't like that. No. I don't.
Was there any of them Yankees or anything like that? Like Yankee varmints, or they have no class down there in the North and stuff like that?
No, I was raised military with my dad. I was more or less like a military brat of sorts, and there was no talk of Yanks and stuff like that. Now, my father hated Japs. He wouldn't even ride in a Japanese-made car. My father was adamant about Japanese, so, But there's a part of this that says little things, little bits and pieces that you don't know about Gone.
About Gone with the Wind?
And I thought that was amazing. And now I can't find it anymore. I saw it earlier when I was going through the thing right somewhere.
Well, it had 3 directors on it. And George Cukor was the original director. And then Victor Fleming, and I forget the other guys, was hired for a little bit when Victor Fleming.
Selznick, right?
No, not him. Not David O. Selznick. There was another director that put on board out of pure exhaustion. I mean, it was just like, non-stop. I mean, it was just like, ooh, fact trade.
I'd like to hear this. It says, number 5, when searching for an actress for the role of Scarlett O'Hara, fans were asked to vote for the actress that they thought should play Scarlett. Out of 100 votes, Vivian Leigh only got 1 vote.
I wonder who got the highest.
Gary Cooper was originally considered for the role of Rhett Butler. I never knew that. When he turned down the role, he said, Gone with the Wind is going to be the biggest flop in Hollywood history. He was quoted.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 3 is the film won 8 Oscars and Gable was nominated for the Best Leading Actor. That's no secret. We're still waiting on number 3, which is Hattie McDowell won the Oscar for the role of Mammy. However, she was black. She could not attend the premiere. I did not know that.
In Atlanta.
Number 2, Clark Gable was so distressed over the requirement that he should cry on screen that he almost quit the movie. I don't remember him crying. However, Olivia de Havilland, who played the role of Melanie, convinced him to stay. I think she adored him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see. Last but not least, Rhett Butler's famous farewell line to Scarlett is, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." This line was voted as the most memorable line in cinema history by the American Film Institute. This is true. It's pretty crazy. And then here is the Best Picture Oscar, and the Oscar goes to...
Well, we've reached one of the big ones, folks. Up till now, we've talked about movies with varying degrees of public awareness. But this time, it's a film known the world over. It's the first Best Picture winner I would label as epic and truly grand in scale. It's the first film in this series to be shot in color, Technicolor to be more precise. It features 2 of the most recognizable, by name anyway, lead characters to be put on film. It's the first picture to win 10 Oscars, one of those 10 being the first Academy Award ever given to an African American. In this case, Hattie McDaniel for Best Supporting Actress. It's often acknowledged as one of the best films of all time. I am, of course, talking about the classic Gone with the Wind. It's a movie I'll fully admit to never having much interest in. I was dreading the months leading up to it. But I gave it a shot, and I was pleasantly presented with some great set pieces, an engaging story, and extremely flawed but rarely uninteresting characters. Unfortunately, those characters may be a bit too flawed when they are asked to carry the main weight of the story in its later half. But maybe I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Gone with the Wind is based off the incredibly long Pulitzer Prize-winning 1936 book of the same name by Margaret Mitchell. Like Harper Lee a few decades later, it was the only book Mitchell ever wrote. The movie begins with Southern Belle Scarlett O'Hara, played by Vivian Leigh, living her life...
I heard she wrote the... Well, I could be wrong, but she wrote the book Pansy.
Pansy? I don't know. We'll look into that in just a
story
second.
of Mr. Solution.
In Georgia. She's a pretty but shallow young woman of 16 whose lot in life is to get married and have kids. The perfect beau, if I may borrow a southern expression, in her eyes is the sensitive, educated, and well-respected Ashley Wilkes, played by Leslie Howard. Unfortunately, Ashley is already set to marry his cousin Melanie Hamilton, played by Olivia de Havilland. Scarlett hastily marries a man she does not love in order to make Ashley, who claims to reciprocate her feelings but cannot act on them due to his impending engagement, jealous. Scarlett has little time to worry about such matters as love and marriage, however, when civil war breaks out between the North and the South. Ashley and Scarlett's new husband are off to fight. Melanie is left with Scarlett, who promised Ashley she would take care of his new wife, and Scarlett's life is changed forever. The Civil War is obviously a big part of the movie. We never see any battles, though. The film isn't about the men on the field or the generals coming up with strategies. It's about those left behind and those coming back. We instead see the consequences of the war and how it affects Scarlett and her family, who represent the whole South in their suffering. We also see the ushering out of the Old South. The war not only saw the end of slavery, but of the Southern way of life. The South is rocked to and fro by the war. Many famous cities like Atlanta are decimated by battles, and those supporters of the Confederates must find a way to make their lives work during and after the war. And that's what Scarlett does. She slowly pushes away her old life as she realizes she's never going to get it or the Old South back. She goes from a dainty little lady to a tough and fierce businesswoman who will stop at nothing to survive and, after the war, rebuild her family's farm. The road to recovery is not an easy one as she fights against starvation, carpetbaggers, and society itself, which doesn't always approve of her and her methods. She is helped occasionally by friend and sort of sometimes lover Rhett Butler, played by Clark Gable. It's no secret this movie is long. It would be easy for a nearly 4-hour film such as this to become slow and bloated. Indeed, the first half hour isn't the most interesting. It does pick up though, and I found myself gripped by the goings-on in Scarlett's life. For Gone with the Wind has what the great Ziegfeld, another lengthy Best Picture winner, did not. It has plenty of story to fill that time. It has more than enough challenges to throw at our protagonists. It also has a great historical backdrop to help provide interest. Speaking of the protagonists, all the main players do a good job in their respective roles. Lee manages the transition from Scarlett's early days to her more mature years quite well. The aging of her character is handled through subtle changes in her hair and costumes, as well as through small changes in Lee's performance. There is, however, the criticism of the African American roles in the film. The black characters in the movie tend to be seen as revisionist and racist. While I would agree to a certain extent, I think the backgrounds of the main African American characters that we see should be taken into account. We mostly see terra household workers, and it could be argued those characters have spent so much of their lives serving white people that that way of life is right in their eyes. I'm not supporting slavery or anything, just offering another point of view. Plus, the film does take out some of the racism from the book, such as removing any overt references to the Ku Klux Klan, and changing 2 black men who attacked Scarlett in the book to 1 black man and 1 white man in the movie. The black characters are also usually the ones shown to have the most common sense.
I gotta know how much money have you got left in gold?
$10. Why?
That won't be enough.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Well, Miss Scarlett, I see that old no-count white trash, Wilkerson, that used to be Mr. Gerald's overseer here. He's a regular Yankee now, and he was making a brag that his carpetbagger friends done run the taxes way up sky high on Tara.
How much more we gotta pay?
I hear the tax man say $300.
$300?
Well, might as well be $3 million.
Just as well be $3 million. But we gotta raise it, that's all.
Yes, sir. How?
I go ask
Mr.
Mr.
Ashley.
Oh, he ain't got no $300, Miss Scarlett.
Well, I can ask him if I want to, can't I?
Asking ain't getting.
Asking ain't getting.
So the film at least tries to be a bit more fair to African Americans in some regards. But back to the movie's positives. The director Victor Fleming takes full advantage of the color and the large and complicated subject matter at his disposal. The movie is rife with rich blues, greens, reds, and oranges in a non-subtle way, the movie relishing the opportunity to shoot in color. Fleming gives the audience plenty of shots showing off the landscape of the South in all its old grandeur, its desperate chaos as it gets deeper into the war, and its battle-torn aftermath. One amazing sequence that shows off how much money they put into this movie, and the advantage of the story's scale and shooting in color, is when Rhett helps Scarlett, Prissy, one of Scarlett's slaves, played by Butterfly McQueen, Melanie, and Melanie's newborn baby escape from Atlanta, which is being overtaken by Union forces. The fire that is quickly engulfing the city is a menacing combination of dark reds and bright oranges that, when set against the bleak night sky, gives the scene a real danger and sense of pessimistic panic. Fleming uses those same colors in the scene right after this. The difference is, instead of those reds and oranges creating danger, they are set against a quiet country atmosphere in order to create a visually beautiful and warm, intimate scene between Scarlett and Rhett. It demonstrates versatility and creativity from Fleming, who is able to use similar tools for a completely different mood and feel. With all these advantages, I was all set to place Gone with the Wind in the number 2 spot of Best Pictures. Then came the film post-intermission, which almost felt like a totally different movie in some ways. It still deals with historical aspects of that time, like the ending of the Civil War and Reconstruction, but slowly it sheds itself of matters of history. It instead focuses its last hour or so on the unhealthy relationship between Scarlett and Rhett. It's a relationship that has been unfolding here and there throughout the movie, and it gets worse as the film reaches its climax. In effect, the film goes from the grand story of the Civil War, i.e. Scarlett and those around her, to Scarlett's post-war woes, with little reference to the bigger picture. From what I understand of the book, I've never read it, neither it nor the film make any excuses for the fact that Scarlet and Red are pretty horrible people. They're manipulative, vain, and often put their own needs before those of others. In theory, there's no reason we should sympathize with these characters or want to see them succeed. But the film, in its first half, manages to get us rooting for them. I cared if Scarlet was robbed by a Union soldier. I cared about her efforts to rebuild her family plantation. And I cared about her relationships with the other characters. It's too much of a story shift, though, when so much of that last hour is almost exclusively about Scarlet and Red, with hardly any of the historical backdrop I had become accustomed to earlier in the picture. I love character development, but the point of view becomes too intimate, and feels out of place when compared to the vastness of the story previously seen in the film. It also went on a bit too long. It filled the latter end of the movie with so much negativity and selfishness that I cared less about what happened to the two leads, and part of the experience was ruined for me. To help show you how negative the two can be with each other, check out this one scene that takes place late in the film, and that shows their relationship at probably its unhealthiest.
Of course, the comic figure in all this is the long-suffering Mr. Wilkes. Mr. Wilkes, who can't be mentally faithful to his wife and won't be unfaithful to her technically. Why doesn't he make up his mind?
Red, you...
Observe my hands, my dear. I could tear you to pieces with them. And I'd do it if it'd take Ashley out of your mind forever. But it wouldn't. So I'll remove him from your mind forever this way. I'll put my hands so, one on each side of your head. And I'll smash your skull between them like a walnut. That'll block him out.
Take your hands off me, you drunken fool.
Maybe it's trying to say your life isn't necessarily perfect even if you do make it through terrible hardship. If so, it still doesn't quite work. Gone with the Wind is still a worthwhile viewing for people interested in that time in U.S. history, and for film buffs wanting to see what all the fuss is about. It certainly fulfills any promises it gives about telling an epic story about an important era in American history through the point of view of one woman and her family. I just wish they went through with that until the end instead of changing the focus so drastically. So, not a perfect movie, but one definitely still worthy of its legendary status.
Well played. I like that. He was honest. He was.
I thought the whole film was through and through. At first, you had a dramatic study of how a woman is dealing with the adversity of war, and kind of pining for another man. Well, pining for another man, but the bigger problems in her life. And then I thought it was an amazing character study of Red Butler and Scarlett O'Hara.
Mm-hmm. It's an amazing film, and they actually did. This is one of my favorite scenes. I have to see this when she goes to the jail. This is great, and not just a jail, a horse jail.
Money so pleasantly.
Red.
Scarlett, my dear little sister. It's all right, Corporal. My sister has brought me no files or swords.
She goes on the forehead like a good brother.
Can I really kiss you now?
On the forehead like a good brother.
No, thanks. I'll wait and hope for better things.
Oh, Red, I was so distressed when I heard you were in jail. I simply couldn't sleep for thinking. It's not true they're going to hang you.
Would you be sorry?
Oh, Red.
Well, don't worry. Yeah. The Yankees have trumped up some charge against me, but what they're really after is my money. They seem to think I made off with the Confederate treasury.
Well, what did you?
Oh, what a leading question. Well, let's not talk about sordid things like money. How good of you to come and see me. And how pretty you look.
Oh, Oh, Red, how you do run on teasing a country girl like me?
Thank heavens you're not in rags. I'm tired of seeing women in rags. Turn around. Oh, you look good enough to eat. And prosperous, too.
Thank you. I've been doing very well. Everybody's doing well at Tara, only I got so bored, I just thought I'd treat myself to a visit to town.
You know, every time I see this movie, I hear something I didn't hear, and I have never heard him say the words right there, and prosperous, too. He goes, you look good enough to eat, and prosperous, too. I've never heard that before to this moment.
Do you remember the Carol Burnett takeoff on this?
God, that was hysterical.
She was wearing that.
She comes down in a window.
The curtain racks, yeah.
You're a heartless creature, but that's part of your charm. You know, you've got more charm than the law allows.
Now, I didn't come here to talk silliness about me, Wes. I came because I was so miserable at the thought of you in trouble. Oh, I know I was mad at you the night you left me on the road to Tara, and I still haven't forgiven you.
Oh, Scarlett, don't say that.
Well, I must admit I might not be alive now, only for you. And when I think of myself with everything I could possibly hope for and not a care in the world, and you here in this horrid jail, and not even a human jail, Red, a horse jail. Oh, listen to me trying to make jokes, but when I really want to cry, in a minute I shall cry.
Scarlett, can it be possible
It won't be possible, Red.
that you've grown a woman's heart?
Oh,
A real
Mr. Midnight
woman's
Movie, I have to show you something that cracked me up. Stephen came over here. Steve Rush is calling me. Hold on just 1 second. Hello?
Hey, Dad, how are you?
I'm on the air right now. How are you?
I did not know that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. What's going on? How are you?
I just want to make sure you're okay. I mean, last thing I heard was you were in the hospital. That's all I knew. And I've been freaking out for days.
Oh, I got so sick. I was pretty sick. I was pretty sick. They kept me on monitors for 24 hours. They watched me and
Oh, hi.
yeah, so I got sent home with I was put on some intravenous antibiotics and all this kind of stuff, but I think I'm going to be okay. I hope.
Okay, well, you know what? You had me freaked out completely. Your family just put, she's in the hospital. You can look at the text.
Oh, I haven't even looked.
I have no idea what happened. No idea.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, baby. You were sick. I get that. I love you, and it just freaked me out. I was listening back to your shows just to listen, get to hear your voice. I've been praying for you every day.
How sweet.
Every day.
That's very
I
sweet.
mean it. I swear from everything I believe in, I swear to God, every day I've been praying for you. Because I didn't know what was going on, and I'm just like, don't let anything happen to her. I love her.
That's very
Don't let
sweet.
anything happen to this woman.
Thank you. Wow, that's great.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, you're okay, and I feel a million times better. I just told my family, Debbie's okay. And they're like, oh, thank God. Because they heard me talking about you every day.
That's very sweet.
They finally realized how much you mean to me, I guess.
Aw.
But
I got pretty scared when Victor came home Friday night. I said, Victor, take me to the hospital. And he was like, fuck. He took me. So, and I slept. I was so sick. I got in the back of the car and I slept laying down in the back seat on a pillow and a blanket. That's how bad I felt. I couldn't even sit up.
oh, poor thing. Well, I'm glad it wasn't something worse. I'm glad that it's something you could take some medicine for. I'll let you get back to the show. I'm just glad to hear your voice, and thank God. Because, terrible thoughts go through your head when you see the words, she's in the hospital. That's in the hospital. Look back at your messages, and that's exactly what they wrote. I don't even know who wrote it.
It was Victor. I think Victor or Heather.
Man.
Oh, I'm
So I
sorry.
just tripped. I was like, okay. And I wrote to your Skype a couple times, and then somebody else was writing on your Skype that wasn't you today.
Really?
So, yeah. So check your Skype account, because somebody was in it, and I thought it was you, and I rushed to it thinking, okay, she's okay, great. And it was some bullshit.
Oh, okay. I'll check it.
So I got away from it. Just take a peek at that. Maybe you want to change your security or something on that. But I will call into your show if I get time tonight, for sure, if you're going to be on for an hour or so more.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Sounds
not,
good.
I can't. I'm not sure, but we'll set something up soon, okay, hon?
All right.
All right, I'm glad you're okay. Go to your show. I'm sorry for cutting in.
No, you're so sweet. Thank you, Steve.
All right, I love you. Bye.
I love you too. Bye-bye. Stephen came over last Thursday night. I was telling him about Brown Beasley sounding like
Edward G. Robinson.
Edward G. Robinson. I told him how we named him Edward G. Beasley. And I told him, he goes, "Who's Edward G. Robinson?" I said, "You know, Stephen, he's the guy that goes, oh, she. Da, da." He goes, "Oh, you mean like in High Trousers, Fast Talkers?" And this is how much of a kid Stephen is. Look, listen to this, Mr. Midnight Movie.
And now back to 1943's fast-talking High Trousers.
Well, isn't this a fine song and dance?
What are you getting so hot about?
Keep your shirt on.
Where do you get off making remarks like that?
Supposing I say you're a lunkhead.
Well, I ain't much for supposing.
Well, supposing you were.
Well, maybe I'm through supposing and I'm fixed to start figuring.
Horseradish.
Well, aren't you a pocket full of firecrackers?
Oh, yeah? You got something to say about it?
I'll say plenty.
Get it? High Trousers, Fast Talkers. Are you there?
On mute for a second. Yeah, I had myself on mute. That is Edward G. Robinson.
I know.
Edward G.
I'm just showing you what that's how Stephen thinks. Oh, you mean like in Fast Talking High Trousers? Because they always wore their pants real high, remember? And I was noticing in the Gone with the Wind how high Rhett Butler's trousers were in this scene that we were watching.
I did lie to you when I said everything.
Like right when it shows him full length, his trousers are high. But they always spoke so fast in those old movies. Go, well, like, oh, there, yeah. They talked so fast. And Steven just...
Well, I guess maybe they had a time limit, but sometimes things are better when they're speeded up and stuff. I mean, like when they're speeded up, and they were, at first, acting was more, because if you look at today's films versus the films, I guess, considered of the classic era, they were much more theatrical when they were acting, much more melodramatic. Almost...
Sorry, go ahead.
And it's kind of a high school way, but it's almost like how they, like, oh my, I can't believe this is happening. Almost kind of like if you've ever seen a high school play, like a lot more melodramatic and more, like more for the stage. And film acting really didn't kind of reach its I guess its difference until the 1950s.
I never thought about it like that. It is kind of like they were acting on the stage. It was so almost over dramatized.
Yeah.
That's true. I never thought about that until you just said. Now I'm thinking. I'm joking. That is true.
But Marlon, I mean, if you look at when Marlon Brando, and definitely the one who really for me was a game changer was Clint Eastwood. He was someone who was really understated. As opposed, and I see that you're watching the. Now, what it would be great if they did a sketch with like Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Mammy.
That would be funny. Yeah,
Scarlett.
She comes down the stairs dressed in that. There it is. It got a big laugh. Here it is.
You to Tara.
She came up with that idea herself. I found out one time when I was doing some research on this. She was backstage and she said, "I want to wear an entire window, she has a curtain rod through her." It's hysterical. Funny stuff. I'm sorry I'm so dull tonight, but I'm just like, bleh.
I met Harvey Korman a few times in my personal life. Believe it or not.
What's he like in real life?
You know what? He was real nice. I mean, just a real stand-up guy, and really liked him. The actors, the famous people that were actors, sometimes were a lot nicer than some of the athletes. But just a pretty much a stand-up guy.
I just don't think that Gone with the Wind would have been Gone with the Wind without Vivian Leigh, and is that Tallulah Bankhead? No.
God, all the actors that were up for that part. But but the true fact of the matter is, they knew well before they cast Vivian Leigh that they wanted Vivian Leigh, and all that looking for our Scarlet and stuff. A lot of that was just publicity for the, just building up for the for the film. They knew it all along, but they kept the casting and stuff, are looking for our Scarlet and stuff. Just
isn't it true that some movies are actually produced for certain stars? No.
You know what? There have been films that were made just around certain stars. Like there were vehicles that were made just for Wallace Beery.
But if somebody thought that somebody could play something amazing, would they actually come up with a role for that person to play that? You know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, they look at a book or, and they'd say he'd be perfect in that. Did you ever see the original Robin Hood with Errol Flynn?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, my God.
Is it good?
You know what? I enjoyed it. It's camp, and they originally wanted James Cagney to play it. He was thought of just as they thought of Shirley Temple for The Wizard of Oz.
Dorothy. She almost got Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
And it would have been a completely different picture.
Yep, you're right. I just don't think it would have been the same. But
did you ever see the movie The Blue Bird of Happiness?
No. I know what you're talking about though, because it's in Hope Floats. A scene is in Hope Floats. One of my favorite movies is Hope Floats, and there's a scene from The Blue Bird of Paradise.
Happiness.
Blue Bird of Happiness. Yeah.
As a kid, that was one of my favorite films. And it was kind of up there with The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if it plays as well now, but I thoroughly enjoyed it as a kid. And I don't think it has the magic of The Wizard of Oz, but it certainly was very unique.
What's so great about it? Is it like The Wizard of Oz?
It's like The Wizard of Oz it's kind of a fantasy picture, and people are the animals go with them, and the animals turn into people. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it deals with black magic. I think it's been so long since I saw it, but it deals with like an evil sorceress or an evil witch or something like that. So it has elements that are like The Wizard of Oz, but it's certainly not The Wizard of Oz. I think it's the first, and I could be so wrong on this, but it's the first color film that Shirley Temple did. I think the film lost money, by the way.
Okay, now I'm going to take a quiz. We're both going to take a quiz. I'll bet you I'll do better than you, though. It's actually Finish the Line from Gone with the Wiz.
Can I go to the restroom before we do that? I have to.
I need to go get something to drink too, so I'll put a song on while you go to that.
Why don't you do the theme to Gone with the Wind?
Oh, okay. Let me find it. Okay, hold on. I went over to the switchboard. Okay. Here we go. All right.
I'm going to the restroom, and I shall return. Tomorrow is another day.
Yes, it is. I'll worry about that tomorrow. All right, here we go. We'll be right back. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. 4:20. just now sat down.
No, the man who imitates Red Butler himself, Mr. Solution, was trying to call in.
Oh, where is he? We weren't here. I wasn't here.
I was here, but we'll pick him up.
Let's pick him up. I'm mixing up a glass of a protein shake. I'm still not eating very much. And I'm eating a little... Oh, there he is. Welcome, Mr. Solution. Mr. Solution?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. How are you?
I'm testing my little skull candy here. Hey, I'm glad you're feeling better. Were you really in the hospital?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good you're doing better. What, did you come down with the flu or something nasty bug?
I came down with the flu and it doubled into bronchitis on me. They thought I had walking pneumonia and I didn't.
Yeah. So you have to, what, rest, bed rest? And,
Yes, I'm so tired of sleeping.
Yeah. Well, you got to sleep. You got to get your... You got to follow... You're not bad at following your doctor's orders, are you?
I can be. But they say that's a sign of intelligence. I don't know.
Yeah, because I do that too.
Doctor's orders?
I've heard.
Yeah, I do that as well, by the way.
Doctors don't follow their own orders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've had two doctors die on me.
I'm glad you're recovering. Is 3M saying something?
I said I don't follow my doctor's orders that much either, and that so that means I must be pretty damn intelligent. or his recommendations. So we're talking, Mr. Solutions. Did you ever see the movie Gone with the Wind, and do you have an opinion about it?
Actually, it's Solutions, not an S on the end. Yeah. But what was that? What was your question?
Movie Gone with the Wind. Do you have an opinion on that film?
Oh boy, I can't. That's a musical, right?
No, it's not. It's not a musical. It's an epic. It's a sort of like almost a documentary type movie.
Scarlett O'Hara and Red Butler, and it chronicles the Civil War, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
Well, I know some of the statements on there. I can't watch it. It just, my personality is not suited to that sort of thing. The melodrama. There's a lot of melodrama there, correct?
But I know what movie Mr. Solution likes.
Of course you do.
My second favorite movie of all time, which is Tombstone.
Oh, that's a good movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, everything is there, from the biblical quotes to the fashion.
Don't even start it. Don't even get me started. Let me
but
show y'all what I was watching this afternoon. Look at my screen on Skype and look. Just randomly watch on YouTube, when iTunes, when I had the baby. Look what I was watching. Look.
Faster, old friends, faster. You said
we were watching the little drummer boy.
And you, Ben Baba. Be lighter.
That's an adorable film.
Do you know that the American Arab League banned that from being shown? I don't know how many years ago, but it was considered, I guess, racist against Arabs.
Oh, well, they chop the heads off of children, but we don't want to be racist against them, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we can't hear it.
Oh.
And that's final.
I'm retired.
I don't think you understand. Oh, you don't understand, Marshal. I did my duty. Now I'd like to get on with my life. I'm going to Tombstone.
I see.
Easy on the green.
Strike it rich. There you go.
Well, all right, that's fine.
Oh, Mr. Solution, can you see my screen? I want to show you what I was telling you about that time. Remember I told you that the Earps had racehorses? They were stallions. And if you look in when they're going to Tombstone, they're pulling the stallions behind them. And they had their wives actually run the take care of the money with the stallions and things. That's one of the racing stallions right there in this scene. When the boy hits hits the horse, and Wyatt Earp goes over there and knocks the shit out of that guy for doing that.
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, he had his stallions on the train, and that was very, very unheard of to have horses on trains.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, that was the best, but you know they've done Earp so many times. They did one with Kevin Costner, which that's not a bad one either. But I think the zenith or the pinnacle was the one that we're talking about.
That's one of his racehorses right there.
Is this your son?
Sir?
You replaced
a horse?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Mr. Solution said.
There's the smiling face of a guy that has replaced your picture, and I'm sure you did that, right?
No, we're watching Tombstone right now.
Oh no,
He's talking about the avatar on your picture.
Yeah, I'm right.
That's JP, and that is...
Oh, that's Jewish producer.
Oh, that's JP.
That's Jewish producer.
I was a bigger kick-ass man back in my youth.
You almost have no shoulders, 3M. It's like your neck goes to whatever.
Well, that's not me. That's JP. That's not me.
Yeah, that's Jewish producer. Jewish producer actually sent me this picture of him. That's actually Jewish producer right here.
I was a broad-shouldered man.
Was he having an ego attack or something?
No,
your picture is here too, 3M. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you're speaking, I think.
Oh, okay.
I guess I should change my picture back to me, shouldn't I?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's whatever you want. I just didn't realize. I thought some little gremlins had...
Now, Mr. Solution, have you seen The Godfather?
Yes, I have.
And I just saw that for the first time about 3 weeks ago. There's my baby picture.
Well, wait. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's your...
That's me as a baby. Yeah, about...
Oh, that's you?
That's me. About 3 weeks ago is the first time I ever saw The Godfather, Mr. Solution. Can you believe that? I actually sat through it.
I'm the entire movie. I've seen bits and pieces. That's with with Brando?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't. It's hard for me to watch that too for some reason. It's too soap opera-ish. I think that's what I would link it to. I don't have the personality for watching that sort of thing.
Okay, here they are pulling their racehorses. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the racehorses right there. Look at that scene. There's the stallions. 1, 2, 3. They had 4 racehorses right there. Those are Tennessee walkers. Excuse me. Tennessee walking horses. Race horses. I'm still...
What is your room temperature set at, David?
Actually, I'm cold for some reason.
Aha! I suspected that. You better turn up the heat. Look here, I think I like the Earps because they were after wealth. They were trying to, get a stake. They were trying to get money. They tried gambling, like you say. They tried the race horses. I don't know if they tried silver, because that's what was booming at that particular time in Arizona. Silver.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that because the Clantons were actually killed. A lot of them, I heard, were killed as a vendetta because they had robbed a group of Mexicans for their silver, and the Clantons were actually killed by a group of Mexicans as a vendetta because they had massacred
Mexican federales right here. Watch, look at that. They went to the wedding and
y'all killed 2 cowboys.
This is one of the greatest scenes in the whole movie. The Clantons got up and walked out during this scene. Did y'all know that during the big premiere? They walked out. Ike Clanton, the young Ike Clanton, and his wife and children got up and walked out because they killed a priest. I like this part when he goes, what'd that Mexican say? A dark horse was going to get us.
Mexican police, huh? Tell him to get on his knees.
Te rodeas, cabrón. Te rodeas, hijos de la chingada.
He will no kneel, patron. He is very proud.
Hey, somebody get this stick on his knees.
Good job, Billy.
Gracias. They call me Curly Bill Broses. I'm what you might call
and this is exactly what he said to the T.
Founder of the feast. So next time we come, you better step aside. I ain't kidding neither.
Un caballo pálido bajará por la montaña y quien lo cabalgue será la muerte y el infierno se abrirá. Todos nos moriremos.
Patron, he say someone will come to revenge for him. Something like a sick horse who comes to sit with him. He talk crazy, no entiendo un carajo.
It's not what he said, you ignorant wretch. Spanish is worse than your English.
Johnny Ringgold was a genius. He was in medical school when he was on his way from California over to the Tombstone area, and his family got ravaged by Indians. He saw his mother and his sister get raped and killed, and his father.
But why would he turn to that sort of lifestyle?
Because he said there was no God. He said there was no God.
Yeah. Well, and in the movie Stagecoach, John Wayne portrayed him as a good guy. So did Ringo Starr. I mean, and I don't think his real name was Ringo, but what was I going to say? And I heard in real life it wasn't as cut and dry as Tombstone and a lot of the movies have it. It was.
I read the book by Ike Clanton Jr. I read his book, and he said the only movie made that follows it directly almost to the way it happened was the Tombstone starring this one right here. That's the reason I got it and fell in love, because I love the Old West.
Well, because I heard that Hour of the Gun did it like where it was just like, you know, they went to trial, and you know there were a lot of legal wranglings in between, and
here's where he quotes the Bible. Watch.
Boy, all is good. I guess they knew we would go.
He hasn't killed a priest yet, has he?
He's fixing to.
Amor de Dios es lo que ustedes no tienen. Tú eres el hijo de Satanás.
He said, "You're all from Satan. You're all going to go to hell. You're going to go to Satan." He didn't like that right there. This guy.
Who?
This
Who
guy
didn't
right
like it?
This guy.
What that Mexican mean?
That's when he decided to quit.
It's quoting the Bible.
That's why they're showing him.
Revelations. Behold, a pale horse. The man who sat on him was death. And hell followed with him.
Beginning of the end.
Yes. And here he is. Here's the pale horse. Because he goes, "You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me." Remember he said that?
Very dramatically, yes.
When he was at the train station. Oh, it's crazy. It's
I remember
so
all
mad.
the scenes. Is this YouTube or?
No, this is my personal collection.
Oh.
This is when he says, "You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me."
Oh.
He was so mad.
Yep. Man. No, he was bulletproof, basically.
Never even had a scratch on him.
He never got shot, particularly when he went after those guys, and all those other guys abandoned him, even Doc Holliday, and they shot holes through his outer garment.
I'll tell you what, though, I know for a fact that Johnny Ringo committed suicide when he turned around and saw Doc Holliday standing there. He said, "Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave." And they say he committed suicide, and you can tell right here that he does.
Well, he was surprised. Say when.
He was not going to fight Doc Holliday. He wasn't going to fight him right here. When he comes up, he thought it was Wyatt.
Wyatt Earp, yeah.
Well.
But you know, he drew on Doc Holliday earlier.
Well, he threatened him, but he didn't. Well,
I didn't think you had it.
No, he drew his weapon and he cocked it. And you know, Doc Holliday made a joke out of it.
Why, Johnny Ringo.
But he committed suicide in front of him.
Now that's interesting. So he didn't fight him.
No, he didn't.
Fight's not with you, Holiday. I beg to differ, sir. We started a game we never got to finish.
And I think that's why they have. I think that's why they have. My mind's kind of blurry. I'm on antibiotics. They had Doc Holliday say, I guess the stress was just more than he could bear. Remember, he said that.
Yes, well, that would be right. But that's interesting, though. If he was that afraid of.
Ike Clinton said he committed suicide. Yeah, he was scared to death. I mean, this was the fastest draw in the West, other than Wild Bill. Hi, One Angry Jew.
What is it that I'm missing?
You gave me your cough.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have pneumonia. You didn't get my cough.
You have pneumonia?
You guys should have got the flu shot like me.
Shut up about the flu shot. What the fuck's that got to do with pneumonia?
Okay.
What do
now,
you
I
think?
was
Turkey? Hold on a second. Do you think a turkey hot dog is the same as a kielbasa?
No.
No.
Well, then don't talk to me about fucking flu shots when I got pneumonia.
Did you get a chest X-ray?
No, I didn't need a chest X-ray.
Now, you know that pistols weren't used that often in the West. They usually used rifles. Because
When did we stop talking about me? I'm sorry. Pistols?
Well, no, we were talking about Westerns.
No,
and
you were talking about my pneumonia. And she asked the question. And then you said...
What's the temperature there?
And then you said...
Outside temperature.
Something about...
I'm looking.
A chest X-ray.
Yeah, I asked if you got a chest X-ray, and you said...
No, I didn't need one.
Oh, okay.
I already knew I had pneumonia before I saw the doctor. I didn't see a doctor. I saw a PA. She's cute.
I had a PA admit me to the hospital.
Well, want to know how I knew I had pneumonia?
Mm-mm.
Because I have a pulse oximeter. You know what that is?
Yes, I have one. What was your what was your
I
percentage?
use it for flying. I'm down to 89.
Well, that's not. I mean, how low did it go though?
Went down to 89. Low enough that when I walk up a flight of stairs, I'm out of breath.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Not good at all.
But I'm on 2 days of Levaquin.
I am on a Z-Pack.
I don't know what that is. Is that some kind of sexual aid?
No, it's 5 days worth of a very, very powerful antibiotic.
For what?
Bronchitis with no traces of pneumonia.
I think you guys.
I think mine started as. I think mine started as bronchitis, and then I don't know why the PA at this emergency care clinic didn't suggest it. But when I talked to a friend of mine who's an allergist, he heard me coughing. He says, "You need a inhaler." So I got one of those emergency inhalers, which really works well. But when it wears off, it wears off.
Presently 46 degrees right now, Mr. Solution.
Warmer here than it is where you are. What are you, an old man? You need to know what the temperature is?
No, he didn't.
This guy talks about your dumps, although Solution likes to talk about dumps too. I never knew why. But Weather
Talk
and
about
dumps.
No,
Oh, he's always talking about
talks
taking
about
a dump.
everything.
He's always, yes, but he has a common thread. 3 things. One of them is a dump. Ask him.
It's me or solution?
Solution.
No, he doesn't.
Please. If I asked you about your bathroom habits, you would give me blow-by-blow descriptions from morning to night. Nobody needs that.
Yes.
Solution says that happiness. Solution says that. Yes.
I've never seen you so inaccurate. You are entirely.
You always talk about taking
Hold
a
it.
dump.
Allow me to finish the declarative sentence.
All right.
You are entirely misstating me.
No.
It may be due to the fact that you're sick, which I'll have to forgive you. But it's not often that this guy laughs. So.
No,
Look who it is. Look who it is, my angry Jew.
Laughing usually causes more cough.
But at any rate,
coughing.
I want to make a statement in conjunction with what you just said.
Dante.
Yes.
It is impossible to have a good health outlook unless one has regular or daily eliminations. And a lot
See, you keep talking about it.
Allow me to finish.
But that's what I'm referring to.
Most people are entirely full of guano. And that's why they're so miserable.
Mr. Midnight Movie is proof of that.
I'm sorry,
Look,
what's that?
Mr. Midnight Movie is proof of that statement.
Mr. Solution does not talk about poop.
Oh, he's always talking about elimination, but he talks about it in different ways.
No, I'm not always talking about it.
Yeah, you usually mention it.
Wait a minute. Hold it.
Once per appearance.
Allow me to preempt you one evening. I was battling with 2 atheists. One woman called herself an astrophysicist. And I ended up blessing all 3 of them before they left, telling them that God blessed them. But we had a very arousing conversation. 2 were atheists and 1 was agnostic. Mm-hmm. And we were going at it for a good 45 minutes. And needless to say, I think I won hands down. But they invited me back. So what are you going to do?
What's
and
that got you talking about dumps?
There you go again. It seems like it seems we know who has the hang up about it.
No. You're good for at least one comment when you're telling somebody about what makes them successful.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
But that is very true what he says, that you shouldn't trust the opinions
I
of
didn't say it
anybody
wasn't true. I'm just saying
You shouldn't trust the opinions of anybody that hasn't had a daily elimination, and I agree.
Oh, well.
They're literally plugged
at
up.
what point? Hold on a second.
Wait a minute. It's like closing the flute on your fireplace.
Yeah. At what point, though, are we talking about? Is one better while full of shit or less full of shit?
Less. Trust me. Less. Definitely.
If we take birds, for example, a bird doesn't care where it is. It'll just take a dump when it needs to.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with the conversation?
I got a visual of Mr. Midnight Movie doing that, and it kind of disgusted me. However,
where is he, by the way? Did he?
I've forgotten what it has to do with the conversation.
Did he take a bathroom break?
I did not. I am there, and I wanted to mention, we were talking about Westerns, and I wanted to mention that pistols were not very commonplace. It was more common. Rifles were far more common. Pistols were
I just saw a good Western.
Yeah. Pistols, by the way, were considered too expensive and inaccurate, or not as accurate as a
It was
rifle.
a John Wayne Western.
Oh.
Yeah, while that may be true, I've seen that on the History Channel. It wouldn't have been true in this particular context because these guys were upper crust, or certainly seeking to be so.
But in a gunfight, I'd much rather
Solution.
have a rifle than a pistol.
Why do we think that the good people are upper crust Isn't the crust what you cut away, especially when having afternoon tea? Don't they cut away the crust?
No. You know, that came from the bakery, actually, because
If you say actually one more time, I'm going to talk about you're taking a dump. Stop saying actually.
Hold on. The people who were the most wealthy really got the upper crust, and it was the better part of the bread that was baked. Whereas they would bake sawdust into the bread for the common person.
Guess what the phrase "let them eat cake" comes from?
I'm hoping it's not current because it would be disgusting if that were the case.
No. In not ancient, but back in the old days in England, you would have people come over for steak and for a dinner. Well, in England, they serve steak just like at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. They serve it on top of a dark piece of bread. It looks like a piece of cake. It's like dark.
We don't serve steak on bread at Ruth Chris.
Hang on, let me get my sentences out and then correct me. They serve it on top of a dark piece of bread, and then they put the steak on top of that. It's either at Ruth Chris. It's one of the big steakhouses they do.
You mean the dark piece of bread like a
Debbie, you need a gun.
Pumpernickel?
You need a gun to fire on your show.
Oh, please. That's so
I
gay.
need to
Cut
what?
that out.
Anyway.
You're going to get nothing but short statements from me because I don't have enough breath.
At the Four Season, they do it. I know that's a fact. Sorry. At the Four
But not
Season.
at Ruth Chris. I've never seen that.
Anyway, and so a lot of the bread would soak up a lot of the juices from the piece of steak. And when they had people come over they didn't like, they said, let them eat cake. They would simply serve them the piece of bread that the steak had dripped onto, which
Wouldn't that be let them eat bread?
No, they called it cake.
Well, they're fucked up.
Sorry.
You're only getting short sentences out of me.
What will we do?
I think this conversation is making me a tad phlegmy.
I am phlegmy.
Well, welcome to my world.
Oh, Jesus. You should have had the flu shot.
Again with this fucking flu shot.
Yes. Stop with the flu shot.
Mr. Solution, do you get the flu shot?
No, I told you that last time. I won't get it.
Why not?
What is his fascination with the flu shot?
I hear it well, I don't know. The flu virus is dead in it.
Yeah, you're not. Why don't you get the live one in the flu mist?
I use naturopathic remedies.
Homeopathic stuff? You and Victor both.
Homeopathic. I've never needed it, actually, because I rarely get the, even get a cold. I rarely get it.
How about pneumonia?
Did I tell you, I recently incorporated zinc, 50 milligrams.
That's
not the same thing you put on your nose, I take it.
What?
I can't imagine you walking around with zinc on your nose. Never mind.
Are you slightly delirious?
I am more lucid than normal.
Really?
Really?
No, zinc is it. Not only does it help the heart, but I think it mainly helps the immune system, and it improves memory. A lot of that, a lot of those nutrients and vitamins work in concert.
Yes. Well, I've had a very nice week, thank you.
Well, good.
I'm hungry for a good piece of steak. I think it'll make me
even
feel
though
better.
I have pneumonia.
I'm craving steak.
Really? How would you cook that steak?
It depends. Sometimes I pan fry it and then I put it in the broiler.
Try that again without the
Medium well. Medium well.
Yeah, medium well.
Try that again without the
I pan fry it and then I broil it.
Bravo. Well. I like that.
Medium well. Debbie, how do you like your steak?
I like it medium well.
How do you like your prime rib?
if you guys keep talking, I'm going to go and unthaw one. Just keep talking.
You don't even
Oh,
have
what
to
a threat.
thaw.
Why do you have a frozen steak?
I can't say anything on my own show.
You just did. Why does he have a frozen steak?
I don't know.
Why would
Debbie,
you freeze the steak?
For later.
No, he just seems to me like the kind of guy that if you wanted a steak, you'd go out and get it fresh, not frozen.
Well, I like my own cooking, but right, they opened a new Ruth's Chris in the marina, so I am going to check them out.
I'm not talking about going to a restaurant. I'm just saying, why would you cook a frozen steak when you can have a fresh steak?
Oh, well, I can't eat it right. It would be inconvenient. Maybe I have other food, or maybe I just don't want it at that time. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't take anything away from the steak. I use...
Freezing it?
Turmeric.
How could it not take away from the steak?
I use rosemary. I use Laurie's seasoning salt. I love a little...
Oh, hold on a second, sir. Wait a second. Lowry's seasoning salt has MSG in it.
Oh, it does?
Mm-hmm.
We better look.
It does.
Damn. I hate that. Well...
Never question my
I have a remedy.
sharp.
I have a remedy. I do have a remedy.
What? Don't eat the steak?
No.
Sorry.
Baking soda.
Baking soda?
soda, yeah, it corrects anything of an acidic nature.
Well, let me ask you this. Will you be taking that baking soda orally or rectally? Just I'm just bringing that up because I'm glad to see our CIA is so interested in rectal nutrition.
Yeah. I don't think it's good to take the rectum is an exit chute. I don't.
Not for the CIA. It isn't.
Oh yes, you're talking about the torture tactics.
I'm just wondering about people that would want to play with the rectum of a Al Qaeda, whatever. Even if I believe they were really Al Qaeda.
I think that's embarrassment. It's torture. Those are torture tactics.
Really? Well, I can tell you that a lot of people in San Francisco, like Mr. Midnight Movie, would probably pay for such a encounter.
Well, yeah, but it's
shame on you.
Yeah, it's humiliation.
No, it's not. It's rectal nutrition. Come on.
No. Now, see, who is it talking about? You know, the bowel area now.
Well, I was talking about the movie I watched with John Wayne, Hondo.
Now, actually, John Wayne was supposed to have had a 40-some-odd pound colon upon his demise. Which
How would anybody know such a thing?
Well, when they did an autopsy, that's how.
Why would they do an autopsy?
To find out why he died.
He was a famous person.
Why are you so rude when you come on the show?
I don't know. You always think I'm rude.
You are. You're so rude. Why are you so rude?
No, I'm not. I'm sick. I get a lot of leeway.
What is that noise?
Somebody calling me.
Mute your phone.
There you
I'm
go.
doing it right now. Thank you very much.
Answer it. Who is it? Your call girl?
What's that?
You're going to
Your
get
call
all
girl?
stirred up again.
I'm sorry. Poochie boo.
Well, I can. Why do you think I'm rude?
You're just rude to everybody. You're horrible. I don't care if you're sick or not.
I get a little leeway since I got pneumonia, and I'm gonna milk this for whatever I can. And if Mr. Solution wishes to now switch over to mammary glands because I said milk, so be it.
I'm over here taking Gone with the Wind quizzes.
I know. I can see.
Whenever I'm around someone who coughs, I make a hasty retreat.
Really?
Me too. I don't want to be sick by anybody, no matter how pretty she is.
I might have gotten this from the ghetto, Jim. I'm not sure.
If I see them coughing, I'm out. Out.
Well, we're not bringing anything up with the coughs. That's over.
Why do you go to a ghetto gym and not to a nice gym?
It's convenient. It's open till midnight.
Have you been in the steam room with that cough?
No. But I've often wondered what can live on steam. I don't like steam rooms just for that reason.
Yeah, you're right. Because I used to go to a gym with a steam room, and I would go, like when I had a cold, I would go in there into the steam room and try to air it out. Yeah, well, I try to cover it and stuff, but
airing it out from you, but giving it to everybody else.
Yes.
This may not be for you, but I have a remedy for your cough. It's a pine tar cough medicine. If you can track that down.
What's it called?
Really?
It's a pine. It's a pine tar cough medicine, and it tastes terrible from what I hear.
Pine tar is what you use on your hair and on your skin.
I know. But
well, I have a remedy as well, Mr. Solution.
But it really gets rid of the cough.
And it goes by the name of Pro Air, HFR.
What's in it?
Hold on, I will tell you. I believe it is Albutrin.
Hey, I'm not far from the Hollywood Hills. We're going to have some houses slipping and sliding real soon.
Oh, wow. It's albuterol. Albuterol sulfate.
Yeah, they're up on that dirt. They're up on a dirt embankment, and as soon as we get a little bit more rain, or once it saturates, there's going to be some leveling of the playing field.
Cost me $50.
I got a cough syrup that was in the form of pills.
Yeah, this isn't cough syrup, though. This is an inhaler.
No, my computer is a little bit sluggish now. But did you look up the pine tar ingredient cough syrup?
Me?
No, I was talking to Debbie. I know you.
Oh.
You have one that's not working, and you're sort of stuck on it.
No, it's not that it's not working. It wears off after 4 hours. And then I do it again. It's kept me from coughing for 2 days now.
But you're still coughing.
It's wearing off.
Well, take another dose.
It's not 4 hours yet. I'm almost there.
Oh.
It's not good to overdose on these things. Although, I am a large man. Not as large as Mr. Midnight Movie, though. He's large. Hmm?
How big are you? What do you weigh?
I'm down to 230.
How tall are you?
Shy of 6 foot.
Yeah, that's a little pudgy.
It's not a little pudgy, Mr. Solution. It depends on how it's distributed. Could be all muscle. You assume that it's all fat, don't you?
Yeah, but 230 at almost 6 feet, no matter how you distribute that.
Well, Mr. Solution,
I don't weigh that much.
just let me posit. Let me just posit something for you for a second here.
I'm 6'3", and wait a minute. I'm 6'3", and I don't weigh that much.
Okay, but I could have a very large penis and testicles that could weigh 40 pounds. You know, if he can have a 40-pound colon, I can have a 40-pound penis.
That was John Wayne.
Yes.
Now that's a legend. He's a legend too.
Oh, I've been a legend in some parts.
Yeah, they use that on some of the colon cleanser commercials, but really,
Probably bullshit, though.
one shouldn't use a colon cleanser, right? Because you may perforate the colon. You should
A colon cleanser.
Yeah, you should get adequate. If you have an adequate intake of fluids and fiber, that will cleanse the colon.
Really?
Of course.
All right. You're over your allotment tonight. Speaking about the ass. Anyway, I just got done watching the first season of Californication.
The first season of what?
Californication.
I've never heard of that.
Well, I've been resting quite a bit, so I find it's easier just to lay down and watch things, watch movies.
It takes my mind off of being sick.
Well, I've had a rough last couple of weeks. I don't think I've tortured enough people on BTR.
How about the soup, Debbie?
What about it?
Are you doing soup?
Yes, I've been eating soup from restaurants.
Heather should be making you some homemade soup.
She did. She made me some homemade soup, actually. She did.
Was it good?
Yes, it was delicious.
It's hard to fuck up soup.
What was it?
It was cheese and broccoli.
Cheese soup?
And broccoli,
Oh, yeah, this is definitely wearing off.
Did you ever squeeze out of 3M the rib tip place?
I'm sorry, I just got a visual of that in my mind, and it wasn't pleasant. Please put that another way.
It was Phillips and Inglewood.
You're lying.
You're lying.
Don't bring the TRS gang after me.
You didn't stutter. I have no connection with that gang. They dislike me more than you.
No, I think they dislike me more than you, but I think we're running a pretty close race there.
I think it's me.
But the reason they dislike me, or at least now he did, to his credit, about 2 weeks ago, he allowed me on the show because they were beating up on Christianity, and I called in, to give a moderate defense, well, a quite vigorous defense actually, and he accused me of trying to set him up, simply because I asked him, I said, well, it's not just for you to criticize Christianity. You also have to answer these questions. So I asked him, where did the universe and life come from? And he accused me of, some kind of foul play.
Did they tell you the universe came from Africa?
It did.
Because according to them, everything comes from Africa.
You mean Miss Universe?
Miss Universe, the universe, universal.
The universe?
Ebola,
it all
AIDS.
comes from Africa.
Wait a minute.
Everything came from Africa.
Wait a minute, One Angry. Now you really are delirious. That's silly. Who would say that?
I didn't say I agreed with that. I said they
TRS.
say. TRS people say everything comes from Africa.
The rib tip gang.
What I think they may have meant was that they traced the origin of human life to Africa.
First of all, the continents were all together at one point. How they come up with that it all came from Africa, and frankly, who gives a shit where it came from?
Well, if you're talking about it, you do.
But I keep hearing about this melanated stuff. Well, I'm getting tired of black people running things.
Well, look at the work of Dr. Richard Leakey in talking about. Well, they're not running anything. What are they running?
They are running America. America changes course.
Tyrone?
No, of course not Tyrone. Tyrone's a moron. But black people, no. But black people in America are running America. We dare not offend black people. So we change our words. We change our vernacular. We change what we think and what we say based on offending black people. Give you an example. The Eric Garner case in New York, I think, is a righteous case to get behind. I think it shows police indifference, brutality, police acting badly.
I want to show y'all police brutality in Texas. Take a look at the video I'm going to show y'all. Can y'all see your screens?
Yeah, I see it. But use this.
Let's see this. This just happened. Come on. Oh, that's a bad one. That's the guy that talks about it. Let me look it up another place.
I like him.
You do?
Yeah. He's reasonable.
Okay, watch this. This is pretty amazing. what these stupid cops do to this guy, this man.
Of course, because police in this country are not to be trusted.
Man, he done did 4 hours there.
I just took it. It takes 10 minutes.
There you go.
You have to take. It's an inhaler. It's like smoking a bong.
Okay, he's got an expired inspection sticker.
Well, that's worthy of killing him.
But he's 76 years old. I don't know why they're playing this music.
Because they're morons.
They ruined it. You can't even hear it. Oh my gosh, how stupid. I'll find one yet. Hold on, we'll try this one. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe this will be better.
You're not going to hear anything on dash cam, are you?
Listen to the music inside the cop's car.
Trevor, nice camera, Michael, 6991, that's Floyd, Victor, Mary, 6991.
What blows my mind in this video is the shop owner. Watch what a sissy this guy is.
Mary, I didn't get your badge number. You're 20.
1522, 1900 camera.
I'm clear. 1535, please go ahead with your 20.
This music is in the cop's car?
Mm-hmm, horrible. Cop's 22 years old.
35, send me another unit. 2761.
Keep your eye on this sissy right here, look.
Step it up.
He needs to see it.
20 up. 14 by 7 up.
Clear.
15, 17, I'm in row.
10. Motoring cross street is Depot. County grid is 23.
Where is this?
Texas. Look at the shop owner. Look. Look at the shop owner. Look. Look at him. This fine gentleman comes up and he says, "What the fuck are you doing, man? Let him go." Look at the shop owner. Look at him hiding. Look.
35, taser support.
Taser deployed.
Mr. Kentucky Fried Chicken is standing up for him. Now what? They start talking to the man.
How you doing?
16, 35, 27, 29.
Well, you see how I'm doing.
What happened?
First name.
Nothing happened. I was just driving by getting this card for these people, and he come behind me and put the damn lights on there.
Yeah.
He said he don't have a sticker, but he's got a license plate, state license plate in there, which it's supposed to be exempt.
Right.
So I don't know what his deal is.
And then what happened?
Well, he came over here and got nasty with me. Yeah, I'm not gonna put up with it. I don't care who it is.
Right.
So then he grabbed me and threw me on the pavement there. I always knocked my head on that damn pole, and then he started tasing.
Are you hurting anywhere?
Not yet. Probably later on. I'm 76, 77 years old.
Okay. What'd you hit?
I hit my knees and my back and everything else. My shoulder and everywhere else.
Your head hurting or anything?
Not yet.
Well, do you think it will later?
Look at the shop owner. Look at him over there. Look.
Doctor, I can't see.
Look at that snake.
He wants to get you checked out.
Whatever.
This right here is what's wrong with this country. This snake over there going, man, I'm staying out of that shit. I'm staying out of that. I ain't going to say nothing, man. Ugh. I don't know what this is.
Who'd we lose? I heard someone drop off.
Somebody dropped off our call.
Mm-hmm.
Not me.
Not me.
Solution dropped off.
That's not like Mr. Solution. He usually doesn't do that. Huh.
Well, do you hear him?
No, I don't. Maybe he'll call back in. I wonder why he dropped. Maybe his Skype connection dropped.
Well, let's have. Well, let's all pray that the cop that tasered the 76-year-old gets cancer and dies.
Oh, he didn't lose his job. He didn't do anything.
They never do anything to these cops. Even when they indict them, the juries never convict them.
I think
Hardly
it's
ever.
turning into a police state in this country.
It's already a police state. It's not turning into. It's already there. Stop chewing gum.
Sorry. Hey, folks, I'm going to Betty Bye.
Oh, you were looking for that out.
No.
Yes, you were.
Well, I have to get myself to bed. I got to get up early in the morning. So,
for
Debbie,
what?
I have something to play for everybody.
I have to work in the morning.
I have a audio drop that I made, which is really funny. It is.
Hold on. What type of work do you do?
Didn't I already say what kind of work I do?
Maybe not to me.
Well, anyway, Todd Morris has been recently on his show on Spreaker talking about how anytime he talks about me, he says that I'm this old, decrepit, horrible person.
Does anybody even listen to him anymore?
Stop it. Let me finish my sentences at least before you interrupt me. And he's always talking about how old I am. Now, anybody that knows the history between Todd Morris and I, which is a very long history, knows that he, many times on my show on Blog Talk Radio, admitted to the fact that he was, at the time, 53 years old. He admitted it. He had invited me to Galveston with him. He was always on my show constantly. Every single night he was on my show. And then I hooked up with Mr. Midnight Movie and Jewish Producer, and Laszlo also became a regular part of my show. Here's a little piece. This isn't what I'm going to show you, but first I want to show you a little piece of Nature Boy, which is Todd Morris, admitting his docs.
Here we go. Todd Morris.
Debbie, we've got my docs, Debbie.
I'm talking through a paper towel holder. I'm talking to Doc.
Big Al still there? Is he still on the board?
Nature Boy's on. No, Big Al just hung up, Angel. But Nature Boy's on the phone, and he got ducks. We know where you live. We know where you live. The Nature Boy is 53, and we know where you live.
Oh, no.
He's crying, Big.
Don't reveal my real age. I'm still 40. I'm in my 40s.
Okay, now he tells everybody on Spreaker that he's 30, and he's got a lot of people convinced. Now here he is whining over the night I just basically didn't stop. I stopped taking his calls. Take a listen to this one.
My heart is broken. I want to talk to Debbie Daly. Did you just say faithful, Debbie Daly? You think you're being faithful? You treated me
So what's
for some Jew in Hollywood? No, it's not.
Hi, Nature Boy, but
Wait, let me explain something. This is his show. He's actually listening to my show and commenting as it goes, which is why you hear me in the background.
My heart is broken. I want to talk to Debbie Daly. Did you just say faithful, Debbie Daly? You think you're being faithful? You treated me
so what's
for some Jew in Hollywood? No, it's not.
Hi, Nature Boy, but
No, I'm not.
But no,
You treated me
love somebody. You just
treated me See what I'm talking about? This is it. This is war. George Producer, this is war.
I have to say that
Shut up,
no men may
Shut up, Laszlo. Shut up. And you know what happened to value? What happened to dignity? What
I'll
happened
crack
to
that whip like a
What
peanut.
happened
No, I'm joking.
to Debbie Daly?
That it's good to become. I'm sorry.
You shut up, you drunk. I want to talk to Debbie Daly.
Making a relationship stay alive.
Debbie, you crazy idiot.
Variety. Give that bitch variety. I mean,
Yeah, you're giving me a variety. You're giving me the blues. I can't believe my heart is broken.
One night we'll get into that.
My heart is completely broken. Debbie Daly has let me high and dry, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Hey, what's going on?
Anyway, that's proof that I never lie. Nature Boy was madly, madly head over heels for me, and I dumped him flat on his ass, and he raged, and that was when he ran to Desert Rose to try to make me jealous, and I was like, oh, whatever. And then I just happened to notice the Bathtub Girl Psycho Talk recording that I have. This is great.
I have a child that's transgender. I have a child that's transgender. Well, whether she is or not, and my point is that she is not transgender.
An alternate reality. Reality. Come on.
I have a child that's transgender. Is that she is not transgender.
An alternate reality. I can hear there's this major feedback. Come on. Let's try this. Escape? Come on. Son of a fair. Probably laughing. I would be laughing. Ugh. The noise. Ever since I did it. Well, never mind what I did. Ooh, I feel like I'm not speaking correctly. I feel like an alternate reality. Jeez, this noise. Come on. Can't play this. Let's see here. I can hear there's this major feedback. Come on. Would be my I'm gonna refresh. Probably gonna lose everything. Okay, an alternate reality. Reality. Ooh! Help! Oh, fuck it. Leave the damn page.
And remember, people, what I always say, you can shit on me, but don't laugh at me because I stink, because that's when I come back and it's my turn. Now, I think I just proved Mother of the Year. That's, and Todd Morris was strangely obsessed with me, and might I add, is still obsessed with me. But as we know, there's a fine line between love and hate. And now he's changed. He switched over. But I've been listening to some of your bullshit out there. I listen to it. I'm not going to lie and say people send me clips like all you other people do. Oh, people send me clips. No, I listen sometimes. And some of the shit I hear some of you people say, like you, Fat Tub Girl, and you, Todd Morris, shut up, because I can fire back one missile and you're done. So that's all I wanted to say. 30 years old, my ass. 30. Jesus, Todd, couldn't you have just knocked off like 5 years? Did you have to try to knock off 20-something years off your age? You idiot. And he's got some of these people convinced. That's what blows my mind. We're not even going to touch Goofy Bone. I think Goofy Bone's hate of me is pathetic. It's pathetic. It's hysterical. It's pathetic. This says something else about Todd Morris.
Girl, it took them a while. I gave them weeks. I mean, my God, how stupid are they? It's all right.
Wow. You just want to...
Listen, you probably have me on.
Wait a minute. I'm going to set this one up. Okay. Sorry, I had a cough drop in my mouth. One of the big lies that Fat Tub Girl says is that I was on my show one night with Todd Morris, and then I put Todd Morris up to calling her live on the air when she had been gone from Blog Talk Radio. I put him up to it. Let's listen to what the truth is. Here's the call that she's speaking of.
Girl, it took them a while. I gave them weeks. I mean, my God, how stupid are they? It's all right.
Wow. You just want to...
Listen, you probably have me on your little stupid-ass show.
No.
Did you finally get a computer yet?
Yes, I did.
Oh, congratulations. Now, understand this. Debbie has lost her bonding license again.
Really?
Sources tell me that fraud has been mentioned. Fraud has been mentioned. I don't know if that's really true or not, but when I talked to my friend who's down at the court system in Dallas.
Okay, I'm not done yet, but in this short little thing, she's already told 2 black lies. Number 1, that she heard, no, actually 3, heard that Debbie lost her bonding license. I talked about it on my show the night before, which she never misses. Number 2, I talked to my friend down in the court system in Dallas. Second lie, fraud has been mentioned. Oh my God, woman.
Fraud has been mentioned. Wow. But yeah, she hasn't had her bonding license for just about 3 weeks now.
Oh,
so next goes freedom.
Yeah, she mentioned something about it on her show. I couldn't believe she actually mentioned it. But she said something about them going after Vic, and it wasn't fair. And
well, you know, when you do dirty deeds, they come back to you. Yeah. I mean, that's just the law of karma. And business. You know, then have clean hands if you don't want to have dirt thrown at you.
Yeah.
That's true. Hands.
That's true.
You know, and it's a dirty business that they're in. It's not a nice business.
Yeah.
It's not.
Bounty hunting nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
They need to launch
so their
reality.
Little trailer is going to be shut down.
Oh, no. Oh, no. When are you coming back to Blog Talk Radio?
I'm really working hard with my daughter, helping her with her therapy, walking.
Let's go to the board and see what's going on. Area code 936. You're on the air with Debbie, my darling.
Yes, Debbie Daly. These steam waters are rising over here tonight.
She is such a freaking liar. I hear there's fraud involved. I hear there's fraud. Fraud.
Fraud has been mentioned. Fraud has been mentioned.
Fraud has been mentioned from my little friend down in the courthouse. Fraud. What else can you say, you freaking mullet? She just lies. It's so funny to listen to her. I kind of enjoy it. It's actually kind of fun to listen to because I want to hear what else she'll say sometimes. She'll be like, well, you know, Debbie actually is out on bond for murder right now. I don't know. That's my personal experience. Let's stir the waters and watch the steam rise. Is this your personal experience, caller? Right. The bitch is
didn't even know she was...
I mean, just check your crap. I cannot believe how easily that woman lies.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't know she was on the show, and what really surprised me was how intimidated she became once she found out she was live on the air. She's like, oh, you better delete that show, and oh, I know people, and I'll send them after you. And
yeah, she was threatening you.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever, send them after me. The show's not going anywhere.
She's this fat, mean, jilted woman. She had babies with men that never married her. She's just she's a very angry person because she looks at her life and realizes she lost the game. I mean, she did. And I'm sorry.
She didn't even make it off the bench.
She didn't even hear the starting gun. But
hello, everybody. This is Debbie here, and I've been getting lots of emails, and keep those emails coming to Debbie@DebbieDaily.com. Now, I do have a new one just today. I'm trying so hard to keep up with your emails as fast as I can. And as soon as I get over to this one, I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's ready for Christmas.
Want some whiskey in your water, sugar in your tea? What's all these crazy questions they're asking me? This is the craziest party that could ever be. Don't turn on the lights, cause I don't wanna see. Mama told me not to come. Mama told me not to come. That ain't the way to have fun, no. Open up the window, let some air into this room. I think I'm almost choking from the smell of stale perfume. And that cigarette you're smoking, I'll scare me up to death. Open up the window, sucker, let me catch my breath. Mama told me not to come. Mama told me not to come. That ain't the way to have fun, son. That ain't the way to have fun, son. Someone's knocking at the door. I'm looking at my girlfriend. She passed out on the floor. We've broken up for good just an hour before. Now I'm staring at the bodies dancing across the floor. And then the band stole the tempo and the music took you down. It was the same old song with the melancholy sound. They don't ride like that anymore. They just don't ride like that anymore. Living together for a million years. But now it feels so strange out of the atmospheres. And then the jukebox plays a song I used to know. I'm a jerk off.
Is it true that you would have Debbie knocked off if you could? I mean, like hire somebody to kill her? Like, what does that cost or whatever?
Well, yeah, but I'm a jerk off. Since they let a lot of these alien kids in here, you can't do a hit anymore. I mean, they're doing it for $15 What's the guy going to do?
You mean you would actually have her killed? You're that obsessed with Debbie? I mean, come on. She's just a podcaster.
Oh, you mean broadcasting?
Yeah, she's just a podcaster, broadcaster, whatever you want to call her. She doesn't do anything to you.
I'm a jerk off. That's like saying you got shit on your dick. People look at you weird.
Okay, now getting to the asshole of the week. The asshole of the week is, Mrs. Debbie Daly from, her show here on Blog Talk Radio. She tried to call.
Lie. At least be a good liar. At least be believable. Take notes. Yeah, take notes. Cover your tracks. Do something. Keep the same story in motion. You're gonna do it right.
Exactly. I saw her Twitter page earlier today. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Fuck you, Debbie Daly. You fucking backwards redneck piece of shit. I fucking think you're disgusting. And you're a fucking liar. And you're a fucking fake. And I know this is true. I don't give a shit about you. But when you come at me with, homophobic epithets and then tell me that you turn around and tell me that you are not a homophobe, it just shows that you're a fucking hypocrite too. So fuck you.
Hello.
It's on the internet. Why you have to be mad?
What's up there, buddy?
Why you have to be mad?
Someone's mad?
Why you have to be mad?
No one's mad.
You're mad.
What are you talking about?
Why you have to
that
be
voice.
mad? It's on the game.
Really? Well, no one's mad, brother. No one's mad.
You're mad.
You can be rest assured. No.
I heard it.
Happy. Happy. Very happy.
Why you have to be mad?
How are you today, Snoopy the puppet?
I'm mad because you're mad. It's on the game.
You're not bad.
You're a nice guy.
Yeah. Gotta talk to you later. I gotta do some business. Bye.
Why you have to be mad? He had no idea who it was. That's awesome.
The Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show. Debbie Daly Show. Debbie Daly Show.
Tell you, don't worry about it. It's always great when people are talking about you, because when they're talking about you, they're worried about you.
The Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show. What's up? This is the Fat Red Dragon from the 420 Grindhouse, and you're listening to the Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show.
They're so angry at their own sense of lack of accomplishment, and the only thing they can do is blame someone else for it.
The Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show.
And when they're worried about you, you've got them where you want them.
The Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show. The Debbie Daly Show.
I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to give you money. No, you show me some proof. I hope to God that's the case. Because I don't want it. You show me the proof of where you're going. No, I'm going to send you money. I don't trust you with money. You overspend everything.
Oh, do I?
Fucking right.
I have one pair of shoes.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm so fucking sorry. You cost me about 10,000 pair of shoes. Because your ignorance, you cost me 100 grand worth of shit.
Oh, no.
He's crying, big.
Don't reveal my real age. I'm still 40. I'm in my 40s. And I feel great. And, yeah, that chick that you were talking to earlier tonight, Debbie?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, do you notice what her name was?
Lori.
That was her on the air?
Get
you. I knew she would do it. I believe it was. No, she was calling in from a computer with a different number, but she is the one who lives at that address in Bellevue.
Texas.
Yo, Bill.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I got you, bud.
You're gonna...
Bill, what do you think about Steve Ogle?
Debbie, you can choose. Every situation is a learning experience. Why me? You ask. This is an opportunity to become a better person. To rise above the shit. Or continue to wallow in it. When you say, God, help me to be a better person. Guess what? Situations are brought to you to help you grow stronger.
Yeah, we're recording whenever you're ready.
Okay, here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andy Bond, and welcome to the Andy Bond Show. You are listening to the two greatest people on the face of the earth, Debbie Daly and Steve Rush, or a.k.a. Debbie Rush. Give it up for the Debbie Rush Show.
One angry Jew. I love this fucking guy. I love the fact that he doesn't take himself into the whole thing, and when it does come down to it, he doesn't. And he'll listen, and he'll be part of it. And so if you ask someone who was part of it and enjoyed it, and I'm so into it. I think it's without a question, yes.
I think if it's like 51 or less than 60, you'll see a popcorn a popcorn thing dumped to the side, like this film, like it'll show a popcorn cup or a popcorn lid on its side, a box of popcorn on its side.
You're listening to the Debbie Daly Show, the most talked about host from BTR. Now broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Debbie Daly, changing the world, one caller at a time. Call Debbie now, if you dare.
Actually, the Rockefeller family was born in Cleveland, actually. John D. Rockefeller was buried at cemetery in Cleveland, and he had such an ego that his headstone is in the form of the Washington Monument, and only at a smaller scale because they wouldn't allow a big one, but it looks like the Washington Monument at Lakeview Cemetery in Cleveland.
Cool story, bro.
Debbie, this is Obama, and I just heard you play my song. I want to tell you, I was very glad to be a part of your show this afternoon. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
What's up? This is the Fat Red Dragon from the 420 Grindhouse, and you're listening to the Debbie Daly Show.
888-941-6515.
You're listening to the Debbie Daly Show.
Hi, this is Debbie Daly, and you're listening to the Andy Bong Show on Spreaker.com.
It's not always a great thing to be a horny man.
You keep slapping that bass.
Mr. Midnight Movie, release the monkey.
Are we done measuring our dicks, or can we move on?
Welcome back to the Debbie Daly Show. Welcome back to the Debbie Daly Show.
I watch skate porn all the time.
The Hamptons. How cheesy. Are you kidding me? Well, that was quite a run on audio. I actually can turn my iTunes on automatic play, and it'll go through and play the different pieces of audio that I have. So, yeah, there you go. That was kind of interesting. I was just letting it run. I was like, just whatever, let it run. But what else is here? I have music. I'm so tired. I have music. I have some of the old songs that me and Rush used to play. And different things like that. What else is on here? Let's see. I have stuff everywhere on here. Let's see. I don't even know what's on here because some of it I deleted because I deleted a lot of things that I had on the computer, off the computer. So, yeah, most of it's gone. Most of the music is gone. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah. Oh, here's one. Let's do more Christmas here if we can. This should take everybody back in their memory to a better time. my favorites.
She's a rich girl, she don't try to hide it. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. He's a poor boy, empty as a pocket, empty as a pocket, with nothing to lose. Sing ta-na-na, ta-na-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes.
The story behind this is Paul Simon actually has in studio with him some singers from the tribe, from the Zimbabwe tribe in Africa. That's who's singing it. And they're actually saying, I forgot what they're saying. They're saying something. They're actually saying she has diamonds on the soles of her shoes in Zimbabwe.
She's a rich girl, she don't try to hide it. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. He's a poor boy, empty as a pocket, empty as a pocket, with nothing to lose. Sing ta-na-na, ta-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Ta-na-na, ta-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes.
Yeah, they say, Okadwa uzonge Lisa Nahamlan. Zibana quiz. And those are the words. She's a rich girl. She doesn't try to hide it. She has diamonds on the soles of her shoes. It's really a cool song, and I love it. It's just always been an old favorite of mine.
Diamonds on the soles of her shoes.
My dad loved it. And they're playing with all original African instruments.
People say she's crazy, she got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Well, that's one way to lose these walking blues. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. She was physically forgotten, but then she slipped into my pocket with my car keys. She said, you've taken me for granted because I've pleased you, wearing these diamonds. And I could say, ooh, as if everybody knows what I'm talking about. As if everybody here would know exactly what I was talking about.
In the flesh. So that's the person, the Christos, or the Messiah, the anointed one. And that's, Jesus actually says, which is very, very powerful. He says the whole Bible is about him. That's what he says. The Psalms, and remember, it's broken down into three categories. The law, the Psalms, and the prophets. And he said, all of this is about me. So, yes, Jesus claimed to be fully God. Hello?
Yeah, I had unmuted Dalton's call. I was going to wait and see if Dalton was going to respond.
Thank you. That's straightens it up a little bit, but if you look in John 3:16-17, which is my favorite verse, it says, "For God sent His Son into the world." Oh crud! This is so embarrassing. No, I know this verse, and I'm half asleep, so you guys will forgive me. But anyway, it's referring to God's Son, and I was thinking Jesus, but then again,
Dalton,
if
what is
Jesus
it? Tell me what the verse. Dalton, tell me what the verse is. I'll look it up for you. Can you hear me?
John 3:16-17.
Okay, let me look that up.
One reason I'm half asleep is because we were swamped today.
It says John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him." Dalton.
So the question that goes with that verse is, who is he referring to, us as his son?
Oh, well, speaking of desperation, Fat Tub Girl got so desperate at one time to come at me. This is almost funny. I just saw it on my iTunes. It says, in case something happens to me and my family. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Oh man, that woman gets desperate sometimes.
Genesis 19. The two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed.
You know, one of the funnest shows I ever did with Mr. Solution happened in October of 2013. I was at a hotel. I'm sorry, now I sound terrible. I feel better, but I just sound terrible. I was at a hotel, and Victor and I were at a hotel, actually. And I was scheduled to do a show with Mr. Solution that Sunday night, and I couldn't get the internet to work in my hotel room, so I was forced to go downstairs to the lobby, and in the business center. Of course, we all know what the business center is. When you go down to the business center, it's where they have the computers, and I'm downstairs in the business center podcasting with Mr. Solution. And to this moment, I don't remember why that show was so memorable for me, but it was. And like I said, even to this moment, I can't tell you why, but I just remember in the back of my mind that it was one of the funnest shows that I did with Mr. Solution. And it was in October of 2013. And I show one on, I think it was this one actually.
I'm sorry, I'm here.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why?
I will say this. There's one on here. She has got the people fooled. She has got them fooled. But whatever. All right. Getting called in on Skype. If you desire to speak to the host, please press 1 at any time, and the host will be notified that there is a caller in queue. Otherwise, please hold, and you will be able to listen to the show. Do-do-do-do. There I am. Okay. And here I am. Here I am. Welcome once again to the Wednesday night edition of the Debbie Daily Show here on Blog Talk Radio.
No, it was a Sunday night. That's Wednesday night. So that would mean it would be 10, maybe it is. Maybe this one. Well, no. It was really funny. It's worth playing because it was really cute. We were just laughing and getting along. I mean, we always get along, but really, really laughing a lot. And I don't know. It just, like I said, it just sticks out to me for some reason. I don't know. I wish I could find it. I found it one time. I don't know what I did with it now. And I know it was in October of 2013. I don't remember what I did with it. or where it is. I don't know. Well, here, we'll just go back to this one to see what this one is. It's on October 3rd. I don't remember it being a Wednesday, though. I don't think I would have been gone on a Wednesday. I would have been gone on a Sunday, though. I'm just thinking out loud.
Tonight, I am pleased to bring you the first in, I'm thinking so far, a 9-part series studying the Bible. And studying the Bible not in the normal ways that you've heard it studied before. We're not going to talk about fire and brimstone. We're not going to condemn people to hell. We're going to simply take many, many sections of the Bible and how they equate to today's life lessons in the ways that they can help you and help me and help everybody. And I want everybody to keep an open mind. I know that most of my listeners don't believe in God and the Bible and all this, that, and the other. And you claim to be atheists, although you probably are not. You're just trying to be a chat room, whatever you want to call it, warrior, whatever. So I presume that there will be a lot of people out there listening. Now, I want you to try to keep your mouth. I will be watching the chat room. I will be bouncing the assholes out of there that cause a ruckus and say hate. I've had enough hate for one life. So without further ado, let me go to the board and unmute my first Skype caller. You are with Debbie on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hi. How are you, Debbie?
Oh, hi. Is this Mr. Solution?
Yes.
I'm having technical difficulties over here. Let me turn up my sound system. I can't hear you, and my mouse won't work. I'm sorry. Output volume. The mouse doesn't... There we go. Now, can you say something again?
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you wonderfully now.
Oh,
and
great.
How has your weekend been, Mr. Solution?
Oh, fantastic. I was just in a great theme park. I was biking, and I said, well, let me scurry and join Debbie on her show discussing the Bible.
I'm so happy you're here. Now, I don't know how we're going to get into this deal. Is it the mount? I'm sorry, we're still trying to set up Bluetooth 5. You want to do that for me, Victor, while I talk to Mr. Solution? Yeah. Okay. Have you had a chance, Mr. Solution, to see any of the new series on the, I think it's the History Channel, I'm not sure, I could be wrong, called The Bible?
Sure. I've watched some of it, although to be candid with you, it's very difficult for me to watch that, having read the actual account and noting how Hollywood takes what you call poetic license or literary license. So I don't know why they don't stick to the exact thing that happened in the scriptures, but maybe that's neither here nor there. But, yeah, I have seen some of it. For example, I'll just give you a quick example with the battle between David and Goliath, and that was very important. David actually crushed Goliath's forehead right between the bridge of his nose and his forehead, and it says the stone sank deep or deeply. And Goliath fell on his face, and then David, of course, beheaded him. But, you know, they presented it differently. He didn't fall flat on his face, and, you know, just some technical things that, you know, could have been portrayed properly that weren't. And there are a lot of other things. But at any rate, I am familiar with the series. I have a real problem with their presenting Jesus, as it were, as you could imagine. But I do think it gets...
What were your problems that you saw? And I want to see if you remember, if you agree with me on their portrayal of Jesus Christ.
Well, obviously they can't duplicate the miracles. Okay. So, but... That's of course one, and just the way Jesus is casted, I just don't see Jesus as having been that way. Jesus obviously was a tough guy. He could be very gentle, but remember, he was the one that went into the temple and cleared it out. And that's analogous to going into Vegas and, really messing up their hustle, as it were. And and Jesus got into a lot of verbal battles, to where he won every one of them. But I just think it's a lot of it is watered down, and it doesn't follow. They could use the exact language of Scripture. Update it. They don't have to use the these and the thous, but they could, I feel just point it out more accurately.
I agree with you. I think the only good thing about it so far is that if it brings anybody to the Bible, to Christ, then it's, I guess, served a good purpose. Would you not agree with that?
Agreed. Oh, absolutely. I agree fully. I do believe there's some life there, regardless. It's just, it just doesn't suit my taste, having, been a studier of the Bible a student of the Bible for a number of years. I just see it being casted more or less, Hollywood puts their spin on it. But yeah, I agree with you fully. If it piques people's interest enough to go read the record for themselves, I think it's done a wonderful job.
Good. I totally agree with you. Now, before we move any further, I want to let everybody know that's listening live and in the archive. Tonight we will be discussing, or we will be continuing to discuss, the book of Job. Now, that is spelled J-O-B, and it looks like the word job. It's basically found in the center of your Bible, sort of. It's right before Proverbs and Psalms. Psalms is right in the middle of your Bible. If you look down on it and you just go right dead center, you're probably going to hit Psalms. Go left one and then go left one more and you'll be on the book of Job. What I thought I would do is I would take a couple of areas of Job, but first of all, before we get into that, I think I have something from your son.
Oh, how is my son? I was concerned about him.
Well, he gives us a couple of messages. He sends us 2 YouTube videos, and he says, I hope Mr. Solution can explain where he thinks that Thomas Sowell and Dinesh D'Souza are wrong in these videos.
Oh, boy.
Let's see what they say. Let's give him he went to the trouble to give me the link, bless his heart. Let's see what they say. They say...
Dinesh D'Souza, you have written the end of racism. I get into in much detail what you have to say here. But you start from really almost turning a lot of the liberal analysis of racism on its ear by claiming that...
Are you in my BTR chat room as a guest or anything, Mr. Solution? Because I can drop the link to this, and perhaps you can watch it and maybe call his show tomorrow.
No, I can actually see your chat room. My computer itself, I needed to reboot, but I am going to go to your site. I was there, and I can see links there. Yes.
All right. Let me drop that in there. And there we go. There's the first one. I'm having trouble with this mouse. It's moving so slow. There we go. That was the first one he sent. Maybe he'll call in tonight. I hope he does. If you're out there listening somewhere in the interwebs, call in, Brian, if you're listening. We have a lot of people that listen that don't show up in the BTR chat room for some reason. They call in constantly. The other night, Mr. Jew called in, and he wasn't in the chat room. But I thought what I might do to sort of help everybody out is ask you a chapter in the book of Job that you and I could talk about, or we could first listen to and then discuss. What do you think about that idea?
That's perfect with me. Proceed,
that's
please.
What I thought too. Okay, so I'm thinking that we could go, since a lot of people that listen, now I got so much feedback on that show. I just hit the wrong thing, I'm sorry. There were people that contacted me that had never been raised around the Bible and were actually going, well, you saw Brian actually went and found a video and watched it.
Correct.
I thought that was great. And we can really do anything here. I can start. Why don't we just start off by letting everybody listen to the prologue of the Book of Job, which is the first part, and then we'll stop it whenever we want to, and we'll see where we go. Shall we?
Great.
Okay, here we go. I'll be going on mute, and as I'm sure you will too. Starting now, this is the first part of the Book of Job. Everybody take a listen, as read, I believe, by Mr. McLean himself, one of my heroes.
The Book of Job, Chapter 1. In the land of Uz there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." This was Job's regular custom. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan replied. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. One day, when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing, and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabaeans attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "The fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "The Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, "Your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they are dead, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Job 2. On another day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and
I have down there, and I am proud to have her in my army." That's what I believe he would say about me. Period.
Always hit the bullseye, but I'm shooting for it. I look to God to
There's no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. And he still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin.
I want to stop right there, and I want to ask everybody that's listening, if God were to say, have you considered my servant blank, and insert your name, how would God describe you? Assuming that he's there, all right? He is real, and he is there. And he is a being that created everything that you see, even you. How would God describe you? All right? Mr. Solution, you first. Have you considered my servant, Mr. Solution? He is...
Oh, wow. That's a good one for me. Yeah, I would say that God would be pleased with my behavior on the aggregate. I mean, there are some stumblings here and there, but, certainly I look to God to make up for that and to rectify it. And that's not using a crutch either. That's just being real in real life. And may I address something else you said?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Well, see, the Bible, on the whole, never starts with God as a philosophical question. It asserts that God is. And I think a person needs to settle that question before they can even really understand God. It says, in the beginning, God. So it has God active in the beginning. So one has to have the understanding, and I think there's plenty of existential evidence for God's existence, absolutely. So, but to answer your question, matter-of-factly, is just as I said, I think I work at being good, and so anyone who works at something is going to be a little bit better at it. I consciously work at being better. I may not always hit the bullseye, but I'm shooting for it. So that's my position.
I would have to agree, as well as I don't know you. I think if he were to say, have you considered my servant Debbie? She is a tireless worker that is continually bashed on her internet situation, and she fights a good fight. She is a survivor. Although she does falter, she is one of my best soldiers I have down there, and I am proud to have her in my army. That's what I believe he would say about me, period. Do I sin? Well, of course I sin. I am a sinner. But Jesus said there were two men praying in the synagogue, in the temple. One was a tax collector, and one was just
a Pharisee.
Just a Pharisee. I was going to say a Pharisee, but I thought that can't be right. A Pharisee. The Pharisee said, now what did the Pharisee say? The Pharisee said...
Well, the Pharisee said, thank God that I'm not like other men. And
exactly.
He was saying, including the tax collector.
Right.
So he was very arrogant, truly arrogant. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said very arrogant. Yeah, he said, bless me, God, for I'm a good man. I am not a thief. I am not a murderer. I am not a tax collector. And thank you for your many blessings. I'm not sure if he even said thank you.
Right.
And
didn't.
The tax collector said with tears in his eyes, forgive me, God, for I am a sinner. Have mercy on my soul. Now, which one do you guys think that God showed mercy to? It would be the tax collector.
Right.
That's from the mouth of Jesus. And I would have to say that when I pray, I do say many times, have mercy on me, God, because I am nothing more than a sinner, although I do try to fight the good fight, and I keep plugging and keep trudging on. Have mercy on me, because I will falter, and we all do. And Mr. Solution, would you not agree, and I've said this many times, that I believe that what keeps so many people from coming to God is the fact that they believe they've done so much sin up to this point that there is no way that they will have mercy in God's eyes. I believe that. I have always believed that that's what keeps people from God.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's one of them. But remember now, that's a pride. That's a form of pride. Pride comes in a multitude of packages, and that's one. Because God didn't ask you that. He said, you come to me, and, I will forgive you. But they're saying, I've done so much, you can't forgive me. That's not the issue. The issue is not you. You're not saving you. God is the one that's doing it. So I think when it's clarified, and that was always my problem, by the way, Debbie, and I always used to ask the questions, and they would just kind of pat me on the head and say, that's a good question. But people, and I like what you said earlier, looking at the Bible in a usable way, and unfortunately, I think a lot of ministers do not use the Bible in a practical way to address real-life issues that people have. And I would say to you just briefly, Jesus was an expository teacher. And Jesus was a teacher. He took many questions. And oftentimes, now, people have questions that the sermons don't address. And so I think that's why Bible study is so crucial. But many preachers actually preach a sermon during Bible study.
And since you bring that up, and since we're not really following any set of rules around here, I would like to ask, do you mind if we move and jump up to Matthew chapter 5?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Let's jump ahead. Go ahead.
Now, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. The town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Do not think that I have come to...
Okay, we're fixing to move into the good part. But I did open up my own Bible here. Is there any way to turn that light on right behind me, baby? And it is to Matthew 5. Now, I was taught that Matthew 5 is one of the best ways to kickstart your life in the Bible. And it's where he teaches us what I believe are many life lessons here in Matthew 5. He called out the different, what they call the Beatitudes. Blessed is this and blessed is that. And I think if you look at those, you can say, one of them that says, blessed and fortunate and happy and spiritually prosperous in that state which is born again, child of God, blah, 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 blah. He enjoys favor and salvation are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be completely satisfied.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. And I don't think many people do, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you know, you have to ask yourself, what does it mean to thirst for righteousness? Well, let's look and see, what does righteousness mean? What does it mean? To me, it means that you have been treated unjustly, that you have been treated unjustly perhaps in your childhood, by your parents, by your siblings, by your spouse. And that is one strong, strong, strong power, people, that you have in your favor with God, is that He is a just God, and He will seek out righteousness for you. He will crack that whip on somebody that has been ugly to you. And that has always been one of my favorite comforts that I've taken in God, is that I don't have to go around seeking revenge and seeking, you know, and feeling like a victim in life, that He is a just God, and He talks so much about righteousness. And again, it says, blessed and fortunate and happy and spiritually prosperous are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness.
Absolutely. And I would just say, had you finished?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say the best revenge is living well. There's no better revenge than just living well.
Oh, yeah. Pisses people off real fast. And, you know, Mr. Solution, between you and I, and just pretending for a moment that this is a private phone call, I don't care who you're talking about. I don't care who it is. They can sit there and say, I don't believe in God. That's hogwash. But I know that they do, and I know that they've got an ear on it and thinking, I wonder. And I only hope and pray that if anybody who has known me on this broadcast, even though it's on the internet, that if you have come to trust me and Mr. Solution as people that laugh and say, fuck you, and, you know, this, that, and the other, that you will now know where we get our strength from. And perhaps you will learn to get your strength from where we're getting our strength. And I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would survive if I didn't have my spiritual beliefs, my relationship with Jesus Christ. I don't know where I'd be. I honestly do not know what I'd be doing right now.
Well, family support is also part of that, Debbie, and that's, if I can just say so, I understand the true agnostic's position, the true agnostic, not the lazy person and the slothful person, but I understand, and the atheist, because that's pretty much the position from which I come, is that, you know, knowing God, this is a test, as it's pointing out in Job, and some very good things. Job is pretty much a standalone book, and it points out sufferings that God instigated. Even though Job is the title of the book, Job is really not the subject. God is. I've said that a number of times, and I enjoy saying that. Job was a tool appropriately used by God. Job was going to benefit from it, which he did. But ultimately, Job was used as that was a special assignment for Job, to vindicate God's righteousness. So, you know, a lot of times a person will say, who do you think you are, God? Well, no. But if God is God, God has the right to be God. And so I just think a great exemplification of who God is, His majesty, righteousness, justice, and so on and so forth, are expressed in the book of Job. This is probably one of the most scripturally rich books in the Bible. Now,
we're going back to Job.
Sure.
Job endured many tests and trials, but his patience and his faith. This is some notes I made at a Bible study about 2 years ago. I wrote down Job endured many tests and trials, but his patience and faith triumphed in the end. As you see in chapter 42, God tests us. One of the ways he does is by allowing us to go through dry times, times when nothing seems to be right with us. We go to church, but we feel no better. After we leave, we read the latest book or listen to the latest song, but it does no good at all. We've all had times like that in our life, and Job certainly had them too in what seems like extreme cases. I have gone through many experiences, and I have been through dark valleys. I have had bad times in my life, and I have had times when I would go into church and be able to feel the presence of God, and have had times when I would go and feel absolutely nothing. I have had learned to believe that God is with me whether I feel it or not. Excuse me. But let's start back over with the book of Job, because it is just it's just so amazing, guys, and it's just going to show you one of the greatest books in the Bible. And I'm trying to turn the page here. And it's going to show you exactly where we go wrong. And it's hard to understand, and I was really getting excited last time we spoke about you helping me to understand the book of Job. Now, we left off in chapter 2 when God said, "Have you considered my subject Job? And he is a great and righteous man." And then what happened after that?
And Debbie, I just have a quick observation here. Now, all of this was good. Job was a very pious man, a very good man. In fact, God points him out as being the best. But there was a lot of collateral damage here. His sons lost their lives, not because of anything they personally had done, but because of their affiliation with whom? Job. His sons and daughters lost their lives, not to mention his servants, and everybody associated with him suffered. So I just want to illuminate that.
It's my understanding it was in a storm, in a tornado, that they all got killed, from what I understand. I've always been told that.
Right, I think it says that, and a great wind from the wind and smoke. Yeah, and smote the four corners. And this shows here that Satan does, apparently, at God's permission, has power over the elements. It's in verse 19, "And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote or struck the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead."
Yeah, and you will also learn, guys, what I learned. Now, this is really putting it out there for me. I'm going to really put it on the line, but God speaks to us in thunder. Just like there are people who are able to hear voices in electronic voice phenomena, there are people who are able to hear the voice of God in thunder, make out actual words. And anytime I see anything on the Bible, it is done through thunder. And I believe that Satan and demons speak to us through wind. Sometimes angels do. But then again, Satan was an angel. He was the fallen angel, right?
Right, and not just an angel. There are at least 3 ranks of angels, what you would call regular angels. All of them are supernatural beings. And then there's the cherubim and the seraphim. And you notice the cherubim is expressed in Genesis, where they guarded the tree of life.
You know, I just wanted to chime in here and say, I was laying down. I have never heard voices in wind. I don't know why I said that. I think the reason I said that is because in the Bible, a lot of times they portray the people as hearing voices in the wind. in the valleys of they would be around those big mountains and stuff. And in fact, I was watching a movie that is episode 1. Yeah, I was going to show y'all something that I was watching and it reminded me. In the 10 Commandments, they portrayed it in Hollywood as hearing voices in the wind when Moses did, wait a minute, where am I? I'll show you what I'm talking about. I think this might be where I got this from. That idea was, right. Well, now I don't know. Somewhere on here. It's after he kicks Moses out into the desert. And, actually, it's this part. And the narrator starts reading from the Bible right here.
Give this prince of Israel one day's ration of bread and water.
And I like talking about this movie right now because of Exodus, Gods, and Kings, which, by the way, made $24 million on its first showing in the United States at the box office.
It will take many days to cross this wilderness, if he can cross it all.
I commend you to your Hebrew God, who has no name. If you die, it will be by his hand, not by mine. Farewell, my one-time brother.
Into the blistering wilderness of Shur, the man who walked with kings now walks alone. Torn from the pinnacle of royal power, stripped of all rank and earthly wealth, a forsaken man, without a country, without a hope. His soul in turmoil, like the hot winds and raging sands that lash him with the fury of a taskmaster's whip. He is driven forward, always forward, by a God unknown toward a land unseen. Into the molten wilderness of sin, where granite sentinels stand as towers of living death to bar his way. Each night brings the black embrace of loneliness. In the mocking whisper of the wind, he hears the echoing voices of the dark. His tortured mind, wondering if they call the memory of past triumphs, or wail foreboding of disasters yet to come.
Me and Mr. Solution used to do some of the most awesome Bible studies, and I have asked him 1,000 times to come back and continue. We went through the entire book of Job, and it was quite amazing. However, it is time for me to go to bed. I am tired, and I need to go to bed. Victor is already asleep. He's been asleep since before I started my show. Now he's getting sick. I know, great, right? So I'm going to leave you with something tonight, and thank you for being patient. I haven't been on the air since last week, but this flu is pretty dangerous, and we're not taking any precautions. So I hope everybody's getting ready for a nice Christmas with your families. We are. So yeah, I'm going to leave you with this. Okay? And I'll check my chat room.
This really brings Christmas close to a person. Fantastic. Gee, do they still make wooden Christmas trees?
This little green one here seems to need a home.
I don't know, Charlie Brown. Remember what Lucy said? This doesn't seem to fit the modern spirit.
I don't care. We'll decorate it, and it'll be just right for our play. Besides, I think it needs me. We're back.
Boy, are you stupid, Charlie Brown.
What kind of a tree is that?
You are supposed to get a good tree. Can't you even tell a good tree from a poor tree?
I told you he'd goof it up. He's not the kind you can depend on to do anything right. You're hopeless, Charlie Brown. Completely hopeless.
Rats.
You've been dumb before, Charlie Brown, but this time you really did it. What a tree!
I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.